Hey, 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 hey!
It's about to get crazy. It's about to go down. It's about to get crazy. It's gonna be loud. This is our house. We do what we wanna. We'll blow the roof off. Everybody's coming. It's about to get crazy. It's about to go down. It's about to go down.
Yeah, we're going to get into that. All right, folks. Thanks. No, how does it go? It's been a while since I've done a podcast.
Yeah, welcome to Backcountry BC and beyond.
No,
Doran starts his little selfies out. He does selfie videos all the time, and you can hear him, yay, welcome.
No, I'm like, okay, here we
Here we
are.
are.
I know.
Okay,
Yeah, we
here
need
we
those
are.
videos, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
His voice.
We got lots
Oh,
of
Doran's
them.
got this new technique for videos. So you do the selfie, but if you do a close-up of just your mouth, it's so creepy that you can't not watch it over and over. You're like, oh, it's disgusting.
Sounds like a mistake.
I'm just holding the camera too close.
It's just a muzzy going like this.
So,
But Doran's building his own little videos, and he's putting, so there's like video and all this beautiful scenery, and then his mouth, and just mushing it in your, you know, facial hair and his teeth.
how long? Okay, before we get started, I want to
are these
introduce people
Yeah.
to you guys. Doran Carter,
Oh, nice.
and you're from
Fernie,
Fernie.
BC.
What is Fernie like?
Ski town.
It's a
Big
little
ski town.
ski town.
Yeah, but
So
what is
fun.
Fer?
It's
How do
like
you spell Fernie?
Fernie.
That's exactly what I thought.
Fernie.
Yeah.
And
It's a beautiful
Fernie
town.
like
It's so fun.
native word French.
I don't know where it came from.
No, I don't know. Oh no, William Fernie. There's a guy who found.
Atta boy, here we go.
Yeah, there's a guy who found.
Bringing out the elementary school upbringing.
He was something like a
He
important
was
guy
awesome.
back in the day.
He was awesome.
And he had something to do with like starting the coal mines, something
Okay.
like that, because it's a cool little coal
I
mining
personally
town.
think he was a doctor.
And then things were named
No, he's a
after
trapper.
him. No,
Trapper,
I don't
yeah.
know, and I could
Trapper
be wrong.
William.
I could be wrong, but it's named after William Fernie.
Okay,
So
and then
Super smart guy, this one.
we have Tannis
Barkman.
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 Remember that from the
Barkman.
InReach.
Oh yeah, Tandas.
Team-
Barkman. Does it say
Barkman.
Bark?
It does. So
I put it in there.
I'm from the prairies. And the
that's
prairies,
right. You put it in there.
I made your contact because you were like, "Oh, I'm not getting contact." I was like, "It's because every time people
This
put
is new for
contact
me.
information wrong."
So here's the
You
deal.
gave the phone number. I was like, how
Yeah.
it's gonna work out here? We're so far away from anything.
I didn't quite connect how the InReach
Okay,
works.
see you, bye. I'm like, oh, no contact.
So we're in.
Is there an eyesight?
We're in. Where are we?
We're in the Cassiar Mountains.
Of British Columbia,
Northeastern or northwestern.
At Tuya Lake.
and we have been hunting for a little over a week,
Yeah.
roughly,
Yeah.
for moose.
Big success.
For moose,
Yeah, birthday.
caribou, mountain
Wolves.
goat, wolves.
Shots fired on wolves.
Yes.
Shots fired on wolves. Good.
And I have never. I mean, my first experience north was with Bart Lancaster last year in August. You know, the end of August, hunting mountain goats, and it was pretty. You know, it was horseback, and we were riding some miles in. It was really dense
Yeah.
country.
You start from the road.
No, we flew in.
Flew in.
Oh yeah.
We
The
flew
horses
in
were already there.
in a bush plane. The horses were already there,
Same as here.
and then we got on. And
How did that happen? It's a miracle. The horses are just in the
I know
bush.
somebody brought them in like 100 miles or something.
I bet.
And so anyway, and it was an incredible experience to be out there in such virgin country that
You
there's just
got
no
hooked?
people, and yeah. So I came out here this year. I'm out here with some of the guys from Sitka, Jonathan Hart,
Nice guy.
John Barklow.
Nice guy.
Um,
Photographer Jay.
yeah, we got Jay
Yeah.
Byer here, Mr. Talented.
Yes.
Keith Ailes from Mountain Ops, bringing the camera along, Gritty, and then
Yeah.
Adam Greentree.
Yeah, we love that guy.
Yep.
Very
Got Adam
handy.
here. And
Complete blizzard, and he's like, "That's it, oi, we're going hiking off to whatever mountain." Oh,
Yeah.
Dan's getting dragged.
Yeah,
Rather be here.
it has been it's been an epic trip. It
It's
really
fun.
has been. And but I think, and you two, you were basically a team, and you were helping me. You're my guides.
Yeah.
And
Dustin
so I
thought it was good matchmaking. He thought you were a fun guy with the right attitude. He's like, I'll put him with these dorks. See how it goes,
Dude.
you know?
I'm the camp envy, really. I mean,
Oh.
I got the cool guides.
Yeah.
Cool.
We're
And,
fun.
You guys are, and so.
Except for the temper on the horses every once
Every
in a while.
now and then, Tannis will go off a little bit.
All the swears I'm not
80
allowed to say.
days.
What's
Right.
funny about Doran is I don't know. You have to use the word sweet.
Yes.
Doran. He's a sweet
Yeah.
man,
He is.
and so he's on the horse, right? And as the horses go, you know,
he's so pretty.
they start to misbehave, and Darren's like, I don't really want to hit him.
Yeah.
So he sort of like threatens, like he does all this. I'm gonna get you, but they don't. But he doesn't actually really
Yeah,
get
yeah.
him.
Not me. Yeah.
It's your energy. You gotta portray aggressive energy. You don't have to hit them. You just
Yeah.
have to threaten them.
But I
And
have
then
a
they,
temper,
and then they
though.
go. Yeah.
It's a different. You're born with certain things. I can't explain it. I was
Yeah.
talking about that this morning. It's just, and I really don't want to take it out on the horses, and I hope I don't. It's more like my vocabulary is swearing like crazy, and I hope I'm not starting to belt. I know I'm
Yeah.
better than that, but it just makes me so mad sometimes when they know better, they're not doing it, and then I just start.
So you two,
Up.
like the first moment I got off the airplane and I walked up and,
Oh,
and I met you
crap.
guys, I was like, what did we get into? Like, you're a little scraggly. You're a little scrappy looking. And
I don't know what you're
I didn't
talking about.
expect you, Tannis. You got that smoky, husky voice.
Oh, yeah.
And the hair and all the wool and the patch.
Yeah.
You look kind of gypsy, you know,
Nomadic
vagabond.
gypsy cowboys.
Yeah.
Yes,
Gypsy
exactly.
Cowboys.
And
I wasn't sure if that was a bad move because
see,
I-
Doran had the hat,
Yeah, and the Sika gear helps. Even though it's stained and
Yeah.
covered in,
guts and blood.
yeah, which almost is a good thing for you as a. You're like, I want that guy looks like he's been covered in blood.
I
you
could
know,
roll
to
up my
double-
sleeves, but I just don't.
Yeah, yeah.
I just go in
It
with,
showed.
with my
It
jacket
shows.
on.
See, I got a question for you. How, like, was there ever a moment of like, ooh, not? Was it a slight disappointment? Like,
Uh-oh.
is it a negative thing to
No.
see someone that looks like they're not maybe able, or do we just fit the mountain profile and you're like, sweet, at least I'm gonna survive with these guys? Because
No, the moment I landed, I felt like everybody was on it.
yeah.
Like handled their business.
Bringing out a
super
couple
friendly.
big caribou and a
people
couple
come-
moose, so you're like,
Yeah.
maybe they'll be able to do
Well, it's
it.
nice to have the antler parade going. And
Yes.
the new guys. It's always
Oh, I want one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys had you've been here. By the time we got here, you've been here how many days? Like you've been in the bush a while.
I've been horse hunting for 50 days.
Yeah, 50.
And 3 sheep hunts before that.
Yeah, we came out mid-July. We started hunting the start of August, and then we horsed in start of September, and it's now
You're just living out here.
yeah,
What's it been like?
August, September, October.
Well, after we killed the last caribou, my boots have been wet because
Just how it
we
goes.
killed them in 8 inches of water,
Uh,
and it was just tough deal.
You don't recover
You
from
can't.
those.
You know, you're like,
Soak boots. Or
oh,
soak-
let's roll them over. Maybe it'll be drier. No,
you guys need a Pete's boot dryer in here that you plug into that generator.
my
There's
boots are drying
not all
now.
camps. So I guess that
This camp is awesome. This is gonna dry our boots
Yeah.
out, right?
Josephine had a generator.
You gotta toughen
Yeah.
up, Brian. You gotta like just be
I'm just
a man.
saying.
Yeah.
Just say, yeah.
I oiled
wet
my
boots
boots.
suck.
I oiled my boots.
Just
and
see Doran's
oiled them,
feet though.
oiled
It's
them.
not just the boots.
They
but the
stunk.
side effect of the.
They kind of had a.
And they have like a.
They're kind of rotting.
Yeah.
No, I put
Oh,
that
yeah.
Gold Bond foot powder on every night to help
It's like
keep them
it's
dry
like a layer
and
of soaked
healthy.
skin, and it's as soaked as it'll get. So it's like white. It looks like his feet are dead. Like he's actually the feet have died, and they may fall off.
Just at the end of the
At
day.
risk.
So-
In the morning, they're good.
I think people might be listening going, what is the relationship here? Brother and sister?
No, we're lovers.
Yeah.
We're not. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
And we're
the
solid
audience
partners.
doesn't
We are
quite
solid
know.
partners. Good team.
It's kind of funny because there's no romance out here doing this job. It's very you're in your sleeping bag. It's just
Oh,
you.
I saw you grab his butt once.
You all try and
or
work
twice.
it a
Little
bit
butt
on.
grabs here and there.
Yeah.
Little
But
foreplay
for the most
next
part,
time.
no, it's pretty.
We're just busy. You're always busy
It's
and
tough.
tired. It's very tough.
Yeah. Well, it's cold.
Plus, we're
dirty.
constantly angry with each other.
Not really.
No.
Kidding.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
You're mad.
Yeah, I haven't really seen Doran get mad. Does he get mad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I get mad usually when I'm really hungry.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get mad. Yeah.
Well, I think it's
And then I
great.
just got to eat.
Doran's accent. Usually when I get a little hungry.
Yeah. You gotta watch all his videos. It's awesome. Awesome.
So I want to tell people about kind of what this hunt's been like. We took a float plane
Mhm.
out here.
It's fun, hey?
It was pretty gnarly. Like
Sucked in, though.
I've traveled. I've been on a number of planes, but the visibility here was really low.
Which is unfortunate because it would have been cool if you could
have.
have seen, because Dustin's area is so massive and you start flying like, wow, like it's just endless. And like where we
Yeah.
live in Southeast BC, it's scarred, right? You get like everything, excavation, landmarks, you
Roads,
get
cut
roads,
blocks.
cut blocks, seismic roads, and it's nice for access, right? Like
Yeah.
we love it. You get on road horse and old road closure. If you
Yeah.
bump in the mountains, you're there. But here it's like, it's different, you know, it's wild, it's remote. Like it's what the word remote.
It's true wilderness.
It's true wilderness forever, you know, and it's cool, it's neat, you know.
There's
It
a
is,
lot
it's
more
neat.
wolves and bears.
Like the only
people.
trails are game trails. It's not.
Right.
It's super cool.
We're the minority out here. That's what I said down at Josephine when the bears were rooting through our camp. I'm like, this is his camp. Don't forget.
Yeah.
We're here for like 3 weeks a year. He's here all the time. I'm
Forever.
like, this is his camp. This isn't our camp.
You know what's funny, when we first
We're
started
in
sheep
his
hunting,
camp.
I had some moments where I kind of felt like the animals felt lonely for some reason. I remember seeing this one cow, moose. She's in the water. She's at the back end of this lake. She's sitting there like knee deep, and she's just eating. She's burying her face with that big long nose, and comes up with all this swamp grass. And for some reason, I was like, oh, she just looks so lonely out here. She's so far away from anything. Like, I have no idea why that feeling would even come to me.
Right.
And then it hit me. I'm like, but this is like the perfect sanctuary of everything. Like, that's the coolest part about being here. I actually blown away. I love it. Like those wolves, a 30 pack of wolves. I've never heard that before. And I'm like, it's so cool. Like I heard the biggest vocabulary of wolf talk I've ever heard in my life. One's barking, and you know, woo, low howls and all kinds of like crazy. You guys all heard it too. Wild. And to me, I'm just like, oh, it's so neat to be somewhere where there aren't people on quads jamming around and horse, and just so much
Yeah.
interaction where we live. So many like wheels and motors.
Yeah,
and
I've
things
spent my
moving.
whole life in the bush down south, and I've
This
seen
part's neat.
3 wolverines, you know? And that's spending a lot of time looking at the mountains. And I've already seen 2 up here, you know?
I saw the tail end of one.
That's a
Your
true
whole life versus
2.
a
Right?
couple of months.
The one I could have
Yeah,
got,
totally.
but it was out of season. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I'd love to come here in the
Hopefully we
spring.
get
I'd love to
another
come in the
one.
winter, like Dustin's talking about putting skis on the plane and come and like land off in the plateau. Cool would that
Drop
be?
us off.
Yeah, I think I'll pass. The skis on the plane just seem a little
No,
sketchy.
I've thought about
I'm a little
the
nervous,
ergonomics.
too.
Man, that's scary for sure. I just envisioned it like
Digging
sinking
in.
and flipping over.
Exactly. Like
You know that plane's made out
they
of
said
tinfoil.
that they make like 2 or 3 runs
Yeah, totally.
To-
Graze it.
to graze it to flatten the snow
Before they land.
before they actually land.
Oh.
So you like you're coming
You're
down,
packing it.
but you're not committing.
But something that Matt said about water, for example, when it's a super clear day, it's harder to land because it's
Calm.
so glass, you know, that coming down is kind of risky because you can't quite feel out exactly where that water is.
Yeah.
Even though you know, but you still not
They
quite.
said most
I think
planes.
snow would be real sketchy. I can't even imagine if you know
Yeah, he said most plane crashes happen on calm water.
clear water.
The chop, you can see it, but you just lose your
Depth.
depth, and you don't
misgauge
adjust
it, and
your
then
drop
then you
properly.
like just
Trees come
smack.
quick.
Yeah, first time I flew with him, I'm like, oh, what a beautiful day, and he's like, yeah, life jacket's under the seat. It's like most crashes happen on landing on a calm day. I'm like, oh, and we're flying around,
Perfectly calm
and he's looking
day.
at the fuel gauge. He's looking at the fuel gauge on the side.
He likes to buzz
And
the side.
when
of the
you go
mountain.
this way,
Pine cone stuff.
when you go this way, this one goes completely down,
Yeah.
and this one goes up a little bit, and then he goes this way, and they're
You
only,
never
it's
know.
only moving this. And he's like, heck, I thought I had more fuel than that. I'm just like,
The thing is,
I'm like, what do we do? And he's like, well, we'll just fly the river home.
yeah, when we were with our pilot coming in,
Flew the river.
he was like,
It was a sketchy day. You were
well,
thick.
and he said to us, he said,
Life
Well,
jackets
if you
on
think-
the seat.
Yeah, but he said, think about this. This plane was built in 1950.
Oh, jeez.
These
That's-
planes are still from the 50s.
Yeah.
They're not modern tech.
No.
They have all the 50s gauges.
You feel every
all-
gust of wind.
I mean, it's really clean and it's a nice plane, but
Why are they like that?
I don't know.
Like they're all so old.
Yeah, you'd think they'd have like these fancy
2007.
There
There
was
was a
gonna-
2007 one.
Yeah.
And they say, oh yeah, it's
There was gonna
legit.
be- Story.
1950s.
Doran's got a funny story of our pilot being up front, you know, and like it's one seat up front, one in the back.
Oh yeah.
So Doran's in the back, and Buddy's like, Matt, you know, he's just like, hey, pedals, this and that, and something, and then he's like, hey, you're flying.
No, he's like, quick rundown. Take this stick, put it in, there's a little spot between your legs, and I put it in there. And he's like, okay, put your feet on the pedals. Put your feet on the pedals. He goes, the stick's up and down, the pedals are left and right. And he just throws up this huge map.
Covers his whole
And
entire
covers
window.
my whole view. And I'm like, and he's like, you see the ball up here? Keep us level like this. I'm just like, oh man, and I'm holding the stick straight. I can't see where I'm flying, and I'm pushing on the right one, and I'm pushing on the left one, and I'm like, Matt, when I push on the right one, nothing, like, because my legs are so tense
Yeah.
that I'm trying to go a little right, but when you push on the right one, you got to lift up on the left one, so they go like this. Never told me that. I thought it was gonna be like
Yeah.
that, right? So I'm just tensed right up. And all of a sudden I'm like, Matt, if I go right, does my left one gotta come up? And he's like, oh yeah, they're on the same thing. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I started like kind of
Give it some wings.
flying like
You're like
this.
Top Gun
yeah,
now.
I'm like, oh yeah. And he's just looking at the map, trying to figure out where we're at. I was looking at the shape of the lakes. He's like, I think we're down in here. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, when we were coming in, it looked real sketchy, and they were thinking that they were very uncertain whether we would
Oh,
get
yeah.
in.
Yeah, we
or
didn't
not.
know if you guys were gonna
They're
get
like,
in.
We've been
we'll
waiting.
go out and see.
Yeah.
We won't really know until we get
Fly
there.
around.
Yeah.
And so we're flying around, and we're almost there. We're like there,
Yeah.
but you just can't see
Oh,
anything.
where do you land?
And so we start going, and he's like, looking, and I'm like, we're flying into nothing that you can see. It's just a big cloud. And we're low, you know.
Yeah.
And he starts going in. I'm like, what is he going to do? And he told us that most crashes, he told us that typically people crash their plane within 45 seconds
Bet
of losing
Getting-
visibility.
Oh, right.
You got like a minute once you lose visibility, and then you're
I
dead.
bet. What are you gonna do? You'd want to pull up. That'd be my
Up or
approach.
down. You got two options.
I
Yeah,
hope
but
it
if
makes
it just is again, like it just was just a wall from the ground to
Our
forever.
pilot Matt was a big risk taker. He at one point had a pine cone stuck in the back row, rudder row. What do you call them? Little pine
Yeah,
cone.
no
Flipping
thanks.
trees. No.
Well, Keith was flying along, and he's going, and I'm looking at Keith and Adam Greentree, and we're like cruising, and he's like, we're looking, and he's like, no, we're not doing it. Whoop, and he just flips the plane when we fly out of the cloud. And then we had to. He's like, I saw a lake somewhere back here that wasn't frozen, and
Let's go
he's
park
like,
for a
we'll
bit."
just go sit there for a while because we're almost there and see if these clouds fade away, if this fog lifts. So we go and land there. We're not dressed for like standing out in the
Yeah.
cold.
Oh, you pulled
really.
up on shore.
Yeah.
Everyone's sitting on shore.
So we're just standing there on shore. We got a plane. We're just sitting there. We sat there for like an hour and a half, just
Oh,
like
dude.
shivering. It was
It's
cool.
interesting that those moments really make you realize that you are like it
Remote.
yeah,
Oh.
in a way, I almost like that because it is wild and it is tough to penetrate the. You want to go to a place where there's no resident pressure. It's like you gotta dig
Yep.
and get dangerous.
We had the Garmin InReach. Seems like everybody and their dog has one back here.
Pretty
I'm over
important.
it.
Good or bad,
Mine's
right?
getting dunked
And
after.
they're like texting and they're like
on the
asking
board.
you guys if there's visibility on the lake.
Totally, I know.
So we're not going to get off of our lake and go
Yeah.
fly to you unless you guys are giving us the green light. Which in the past we'd have had to get up there, and he's like, "Look, if we get over there, we only have one more chance at
And
it,
then we're out of fuel.
and then we're out of fuel, so we have to turn around and
Yeah.
fly back." So he's like, "We need to know if it's clear or not.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this whole trip has been a waste, and you're not going to get out till tomorrow.
One more day.
Or if you get snow and stuff that day, you got to wait another day, and you might be 3 or 4 days away from actually getting to your
You
hunt.
might be on that beach for 3 or 4 days. Thank goodness you pack a little gear.
I know.
Really?
At least you got your sleep
Shit could hit
bags.
the fan.
Right.
That
That's
happened
the
to Matt
thing.
actually at Ask Lake. He was actually over there. He could see
Oh,
North
yeah.
Two. He was socked in. He had to go fly there, and the lake's like crazy close, right? It's like 2 kilometers.
He said he
off.
was scared that
He
day.
was super scared. He's like, I can't go over there. I just want to get over there. He's like, that's where my fuel is. He's like, out of fuel, doesn't blah, blah, blah. And he hates the inReach. He's a wild child, right? So he's like kind of out there. And the one day he was super late. I'm like, man, we're worried about you. He goes, 3 days. Then you worry about it. First 3 days, I'll survive that. I'll start eating the flesh off my arm, whatever. He's like, I'll figure it out. But he's like, just wait a bit.
Well, when he flew,
Get too excited.
when our pilot flew in and dropped us, it was cleared, and so we got off the plane. Well, when he left, he flew out, and then
Flew
like
back.
20, 30
That's
minutes
right.
later, we saw him.
And he
Like,
already borrowed gas.
yeah, and he went all the way around back.
Yeah.
We thought he was
How
just coming.
intimidating is that?
I thought the pilot was
Yeah.
gonna have to stay with us.
That made me
overnight.
a little worried. I was like, oh, the boys were already nervous about the conditions
Yeah.
flying, and they probably got into a little bit of some clouds and had to turn around, and then he's like, well,
Yeah.
we'll try a different route.
Randy
oh.
Ulmer was on that plane.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right.
So-
Not in good shape, broken ribs. I want to go home.
When he flew around that backside, I was like, "Where's he going?" Like he flew
Yeah.
past the lake.
Going
But
around the clouds.
He went around the cloud on the backside of the mountain. But
I think
yeah,
that's
as
the
I was-
territory of 70 lakes, though. I forget
Does
how
it?
many you can land in, so it's pretty good.
Well, when we were flying along, the pilot was like keeping track of which ones were frozen and which ones were,
Oh,
were
yeah.
thawed.
'Cause
So
they're done.
At any
The
time,
tenth,
he
you
could
guys-
just land.
You guys were the last.
That's the thing too. Is he's like most pilots are done flying. They won't fly
yeah,
anymore.
On the 10th.
I bet.
Mhm.
For
It's
sure.
the 13th today.
And so we were pushing the limits, and it's funny, like as we came into this hunt, I thought it would be late season,
Yeah.
right? I knew it was, and that's why we
He
wanted
never
it.
really braced for the full winter.
But I didn't know that it was going to be like this
Blizzard.
winter.
And yet I actually feel like it's been great. I'm kind of
Yeah.
like, ooh, it hasn't actually really belted us, you know?
Yeah.
Because we've
Well,
had
that
really
day
nice
that I
days.
went out, that day we went out to get Adam Greentree's moose
That was pure blizzard.
from the grizzly.
Yeah.
That day
Unsuspected.
was like, and it didn't help. Dan took us through Narnia,
Yeah.
with
Oh,
horses,
you're right.
and it's just like
Oh,
just snow all over.
We
it's
kept being like,
whipping.
where is he going? They're like, the track stopped. We're like, damn it.
And
Came
it
all
snowed,
this way in.
it had snowed so hard that we could just see the faint line. We couldn't see the imprints that you had turned around.
At first
So we
I'm
went
like,
all the way to the dead end. Tannis is like, stops here. And I'm like, what do you mean it stops
Oh.
here?
We
It
went.
goes through. It has
we
to. We're like,
bushwhacked
there's
it.
I
no.
bet.
We got
It was
off
a
and looked, and we're
long
like,
day.
stops here.
Because then we went back in there with you, like the next day
That's
or
right.
so, and it was like,
See all the
why didn't we
time.
take this path?
Yeah, learning.
Yeah.
But no, it was very. It is winter.
Yeah.
Like, so
Right before you guys showed up, I could feel the Arctic wind. There was a wind, and I was like, that has a bite of Mr. Frosty. That's like, like a good old fashioned, gets you in your cheeks, and you're like, this isn't going away, right? It's the here to stay
Yeah.
play game.
Yeah.
It's cool, though.
So, 50 days, what would you guys say has, how has this experience maybe changed you?
Ooh, no. Never do it again. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I don't think it's changed me at all.
Think you're the same?
Yeah.
Brought any new
No.
awareness to you?
I'm kind of an idiot.
I'd
'cause
like to trap the wolves up here.
yeah.
Dorn's like,
No,
What does that
wolves.
wanna do?
I was
Right.
just about to say that I always want more. It's kind of funny. I'm such a weirdo like that. Like I'll get like the 50 days and I'm submerged. And it's different when you're working, right? Like I would love to have 50 days of just frolicking and finding trails and
Yeah.
become one with the animals. It's way different, right? Like we talk about the inReaches, and that's been something that not my favorite part of the job, right? Is because I'm not a phone guy, so it's tough to just, like that. I feel like that keeps my eyes down here. And meanwhile, I'm like, oh, I want to embrace all this. Like, there's some days I've had to make myself, and I want to just, it's just part of it. It's fun.
It's hard to wake
all-
up at 5 every morning and go find the horses. That's the hardest part of this job.
Well,
hunting is great. We love hunting,
yeah.
right?
That's the
Everything
thing.
is
Like,
But it's a lot of work, the horses.
like what you're saying
Those
about
brown eyes.
how you know you like to just frolic and blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
like I always want more
But-
when it comes
but
back.
Tannis, in this place,
Yeah.
you don't exist without work.
Yeah,
Oh,
for sure.
totally.
This isn't like
Well, there
coconuts
wasn't-
falling from trees,
Yeah.
chilling on
You
the
make
beach.
your existence.
You
here.
have to carve out every day.
Well, and Doran and I wanted to really do something a little bit different, and I've always pushing for that because I travel a lot and I do things, and I was like, I want, and same thing I was telling you, I'm kind of selfish, I always want more, right? So we're very fortunate, we always have 3-day weekends, and we like blast off the mountains, we're horsing like crazy, and we just love it, and we come home and you go to work, and you come home
cram
and
as
go to work.
much as you can.
And I was
in.
like, I just don't want to go to work. Like, I want to, but we knew that we weren't able financially to just not, like, it'd be great to go on a whole 4-month long horse adventure on your own, but can't really. So then we're like, oh, guiding would be good. Like, it's always been on the back burner. It's always something that, like, we hunt like crazy. We just would love to do it.
Yeah.
To make the job the thing, to fit it all in, And it wasn't, I didn't feel like I like missed home like crazy. There wasn't anything. It just feels quite natural. Like it's exactly how I wanted it, and it felt like it was going to be. And it's way more work than, it's so much work, right? You just working super tired all the time, which is fantastic. But it has been really neat to just be able to just be here all the time, not have to go home, not have to do anything, get to trade camps and move around. There's definitely tons of moments where I'm like, this is awesome. Like, it's neat, like it's super neat to have a big pack train full of horses and you got all your gear on, you got your top packs, and you just chuff it over to the next, and next camp. And
it's a lot of work, but it's rewarding to see what the end result is at the end of the day, right? We're like, oh, we moved a lot of gear.
And we ride horse
place to
every
the
day.
next.
It's like your wheels. It's the only thing you
Yeah.
do. Like, it's, and it's cool.
It's so different because it takes you back in time.
Yeah.
Because you're on a horse, you don't have communication to the outside world. I was thinking about that when we were coming back last night in the middle of the night.
Yeah. When I'm singing, we got Keith going for a high-speed sprint on the mule.
So many stories.
Stop!
What's
that on the ground? Turn your headlamp up. You were so scared. And you're like,
Dude.
it's a phone and it's playing Led Zeppelin.
I'm like, Keith, are you okay? He's like,
telling
I
you.
lost my phone.
Dude went up to that phone. He's all sketched out.
I was like, is it a porcupine? Because there's so many porcupines that scare the horses. No.
Well, the thing was, Keith,
that was hilarious.
we should probably fill people in, but we were packing out my moose last night, late at night.
It's snowy out. It's beautiful. I love it when things are everything. Like, it's hard work to get it all piled up together, but then once that gets going, you have those moments. I'm like, this is nice. Those are the enjoyments, right?
Yeah, and it was a kind of an open prairie.
Yeah, and
as
you're
much
behind
as
your
it
moose
does.
track. You get to watch them.
I'm watching the moose,
Kind of like you're still alive.
going through on the horse. We each are pony.
You're
in
pulling
the
back every
critter.
freaking like.
Dude, I'm like, it's just so cool. And then I gotta admit, like, you started singing, and he's whistling up
Stars.
front. Dude, it feels like something from a movie, like John Wayne, stuff. And
I'm sure he sang lots on his pony getting around.
and we're just riding,
And then we have that.
and it's simple. And then Keith decides to break out Led Zeppelin on his phone.
I'm sick of that girl singing. He's like,
And then
"I'm
the
freaking
mule
put my
didn't
own
like
music
that.
on."
And the mule did not like that. He's like, we're going to celebrate with Led Zeppelin. And then the mule just bolts.
Well, and what the general public might not know is that horses have flight instincts. So the guy in the back is the one getting chomped by the wolves. So anytime there's anything, scary, and I'm the last guy, the horses will, right? The guy in the front's never really, like, the guy in the very front will...
He's like, there's like 4 horses to get eaten before.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
And
That
The guy in the back
wanted-
wants to get in front.
So anytime they feel something weird and crazy and there's a true spook, they're like the last guy in line, they just fucking boogie. And then the next guys in line are like, oh, Sam's running, we're running,
Yeah.
you're running, we're running. And then we got the pack horse, the whole
I'm
moose
just
going
so
for-
glad that I look back and I seen Keith coming and I'm like, oh, I hope he doesn't
I heard-
split my horses. I got her dallied around the
Dallied
horn. I'm
I
like,
saw
this
it.
is gonna be crazy. I'm just like trying to undo it.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Rule number one, don't ever tie your pack
Totally.
horse
it's
to
just a
your
loop,
saddle.
right? But Keith,
Still.
he pulls so
If you can't
hard.
release that, you're going to choke a horse out. Keith will go skyrocketing.
Well, and Keith,
Clyde
I just
pulls
saw
so
Keith
hard.
like holding on for dear
He
life.
won't stop.
And I saw, and you were like, pull back.
I'm like, pull back.
and he pulled.
But we honestly went from like the most tranquil, starry skies, horses cruising, bumping to just pure chaos.
Oh,
Will do that.
dude,
Yeah.
the adrenaline.
Porcupines will do that too.
The adrenaline shot up because all the
Always the
horses
mules,
got sort of just jumbled up, and I got one in one hand and the one I'm on.
Yeah, good for doing that.
And
Thanks. Pro
thankfully
show.
they all stopped and yours stopped, and I was worried about Lucky because he's got those moose horns on
Oh,
there.
no
It's like
kidding.
there's
And he was passing me, and I'm like, oh, I can't have my pack horse passing me.
yep. And
Get
then
back,
if
get-
he like
Oh,
stabs
someone
somebody
could've
with
got hurt
those,
really,
And you're in a
like-
moose
real
fight.
easy.
People
Yeah.
always ask, what's it going to be like fighting the bull moose and the rat? There it is.
Yeah.
Lucky coming charging.
well, and then conveniently Keith, as he's riding by, happens to drop Led Zeppelin at the feet of my horse. So my horse trying to calm down, but it's like, what the hell is this? So he's dancing all around. That's when I was like, you were getting off the horse, and I'm like,
There's
I
something
thought-
there. There's something there.
Yeah,
It's got to be a porcupine. What else is here? It's a porcupine. It's a porcupine. And they're like, no, it's a phone.
I heard
Yeah, that sound.
I heard sounds.
Like a little-
I'm like,
Led
what the
Zeppelin.
hell is it? What the hell is it? Like, it's freaking
Turn
me
your
out.
light
Is it a
on.
bear? Is
They
it
all
a-
weirded out, and you're like, turn your light off. I'm like, there's something. This is
Dude, and
serious.
there's bears out here the size of cars.
Oh, yeah. And they're hungry and they're dominant.
Those tracks were
Oh,
just
yeah.
giant.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I
Those
hear
bears
this
are
weird,
on
but
it.
it's a weird sound. And pretty soon, then I pick out that that's a radio. Like, it sounds like a radio.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then I'm like looking at the hill, trying to figure it out. My horse is freaking. And then I saw him like put his nose on the ground
Yeah.
and he touched the phone.
Yeah, cool.
Good thing you didn't
And-
paw it.
He touched the phone and he like jumped back. And I was like,
Oh, yeah.
something's right there.
Yeah, right.
We found your phone, Keith.
And then I put it together. But that was a wild.
Ironically, the song was Over the Hills and Far Away.
Nice. And of course, it's a very shrill man.
Yeah.
Like 70s.
But I'm gonna get you guys back on track. You asked her, how does being out here for that many days change you? I want you to ask Brian the same question.
Yeah. How does this all change you? How do you go back with a different headspace?
I'd say I haven't been out
Long
as
enough.
long as you guys, right?
So you always want more?
I do.
Story of my life?
You do.
50 days isn't enough.
I would say that this has felt like the most remote I've ever been in my life.
Right.
Like so far off grid, and the wolves howling,
Oh, yeah.
surrounding us in the tracks,
Like
and the
Doran says,
grizzly,
this is their house, this is their home. It's
and the
not us.
savageness of
Mhm.
this place
Yeah.
it's there's no forgiveness.
Mhm.
It's survive or die.
Totally. Oh, yeah.
And we saw moose hanging out, chilling, like grazing, and we saw wolves howling like a few hundred yards away.
They
They
live
both
together.
heard each other, and they just stood around.
Yeah.
Like they have some sort of, those wolves probably aren't going to attack
The healthy.
the healthy moose.
Not yet.
No.
Not yet.
The 18 pack might have a different story. about
Right.
that.
And they kind of seem to know it, the moose. And
How
they don't
terrifying
stress
would
it
that
so
be if,
much.
let's say, you got some kind of accident, you pinned up and you're laying your moose, and you're like, oh, bit of a limp. Like,
Yeah,
he's
you
gotta
know it's coming.
Yeah.
That big cow's gonna know. He's like, oh, the wolves see me. Like,
Oh.
there's.
I've thought, I was talking to Adam Greentree about that, and I was like, Adam? Because Adam shot his moose with his bow, just nails it, it goes a few feet and stands there, doesn't know what happens. It kind of stands there for a little bit.
You almost want him to cry or show
It just
some
looks
anguish
around,
or-
and then it put its head down a little bit, and then thump, just
Yeah.
loss of blood pressure, done. And you're looking at that, and you're like, and then you hear the wolves, and you see the grizzly tracks.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And the grizzly broke into the cabin and ate the moose
Oh,
and
yeah.
2 caribou.
He knows what he wants.
That's freaky.
Yeah.
And that bear was our first night. It snowed heavy,
Yeah.
and all those tracks were 100 yards from
Oh,
our
yeah.
cabin, circling
He stole our cape. He stole a freshly salted moose.
Right
cape.
out of your
Stole
camp.
Cape.
He took you
Right
guys
out-
had that bow shot. You only left it late in the evening. You came back to camp. You were there like
Yeah, we had
decently
to
early
leave
in the
that
morning,
area.
and that bear's completely. It's
Buried Adam's moose under
yeah, that's
a mountain
pretty wild.
of earth.
Like we have quite a few bears in Southeast BC, and I don't even really feel like I noticed that behavior as much. But I think that bear, because I mean it's a bit of a circuit, right?
I don't know if it's the
horse
same
trails.
bear.
I think there's 2 bears.
Yeah, I
I
do think
mean,
there's 2.
Because you're talking hits at the same time.
Yeah,
But those
hits at the
bears-
same time.
But
Exactly.
those
It had
bears
to be
must
2
know.
bears.
I feel like there's probably some
They
upbringing
have probably
of a sow.
boundary deals, right?
But I even think more so, I think like there's been some training where they have been taught that in this season, because we got the
Yeah.
horse trail circuit,
Right.
the moose we're killing is, I mean, in comparison to bear's domain, we're not really shooting them that far off the trail, right? Not
Right.
that far off the
Right,
trail. We're
right.
not going for like 3 days off our circuit, right?
Yeah.
Soon we will. We're going to develop this area so much more, you know, as it goes. But I mean, you think about that bear, and he's probably been trained to be like, okay, gut pile season.
Yeah, we killed Daniel's
This is like
moose.
pre-hibernation. This means a lot to me. I need this. Like I
Yeah.
moose to that bear and
We
get
killed-
on him. Like
We
Absolutely.
killed Daniel's moose,
you know.
and first thing in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, we went back and got the pack train and brought it all out. And then I forgot some stuff there, and I went back the next day at like 10. I'm like, bear shouldn't be on it, right? It's like only
charge.
It's only been 20 minutes, or it's only been like 20 hours. You know, I thought it might take a little bit. I thought there could be a bear, but it was a hot day out, and I was gonna walk in, and I'm like, you know what? I'll take the time and go get the horses. I'll go get Zach, Duke, and Rocky, because they're like solid horses and they're gonna be able to handle this.
Hey, who's your lead guy?
Yeah, so I take Zach and I'm on him, and the other 2 are just naked behind me, and I didn't bring my gun. I was like, not bringing
See,
my
that
gun.
I don't understand.
What am I gonna
You
do?
people
Like,
back here are-
blast him?
Not like Dan with
I'm-
the shotgun. Get back! We got him.
I just didn't. I was in my
We got
long
video of that.
I was in my long underwear. I'm like, it was because I was gonna hike, and I was like, I'll just ride there in my long underwear. So in my long underwear,
videoing this shit.
and
Show.
I'm beating him to try to get there in a hurry, and I come around the corner. Just as I get there, I was like, I'm like probably like 40, 50 yards from the kill site. So I undally my horse, and I look over, and I'm like, oh, there's the gut pile. It's yellow, and I'm like, oh.
Hurry.
It's running at me! Oh no! And I'm just like, oh, it hasn't stood up yet. It's just running. I can just see it through
Yeah, here we
its back coming through it. And the wind's blowing straight in my face, and I'm just like, oh no. And Zach just stands there. The 2 other ponies come right beside me, so I got one on the right, one on the left. This one's just naked, free, and this one's, I got the lead rope, and the bear stands up, and he's got these little ears, big head, and he's looking at me like this. I'm just like, oh no. I'm like, hey bear!
Coming to get
And he sees us 3, and we're bigger than he is.
Yeah.
Right? And he just like looks at me, you know, gives me like a 6-second look. I'm like, ooh, that's a good. I'm like, that's a good shot of adrenaline. I hadn't felt that for a bit. And he turned and ran. And I'm like, okay, come on, let's go. Turn around. Trying to turn the horse around, but
Meanwhile, my horse Zach wants to fight the
they
bear.
know what to do. They're like, oh, we're going to the same spot we were yesterday. He wants to be tied up to that tree. He's gonna take a break. I'm like, nope, turn around. We're done. We're done. Little panic. Got him around, and they all walked out of there. But that bear, he was
Dustin's
on
got
that
a picture.
quick.
Have you seen his picture?
Yeah, Dustin flew over that bear.
The bear is swatting in the air
And
like
he's
this.
jumping
his ears pinned.
in the air with his claws out, jaws out
Yeah.
at the plane.
That was the bear.
That's
That's a-
northwest BC right there.
That is
I took you guys right past that pile because I was like, I just want to check what's going on, see if he's there. But he's cleaned that up and he's moved on, right?
Oh, dude, when we went over,
He must be so fat.
so when
Bears
we-
must be
when we
dragging.
got
He's
there,
loving it.
when we got there on Adam's bear
Yeah.
or moose, I mean,
Took you a bit
and I
to-
was like, okay, we tie him up, and I'm like, hey, where is this thing? And they're like, right there, right.
Beaver down.
You can't see anything. It's a wall of 10-foot brush, and I'm like, it's in the middle. I'm like, can we climb into a tree? Can we get any visibility?
Yeah.
We can't see if there's a bear there or
You guys
not
were
a bear
lucky.
there.
You got away with it.
You're lucky.
And Dan starts marching off, and we're like, Adam Greentree's like, hey, oi. You gonna take a gun or what? All of a sudden, Adam's not so brave with just his bow.
Yeah.
And Dan's like, oh, whatever, I'll grab the gun. And I'm just sitting here thinking, and I haven't done this as much as them, but
bring a gun.
But I'm just expecting the bear to have taken this. Just,
right, yeah.
It's so cold.
Well, walking in on a day after, it's always,
And then when we come walking through, and I'm like, I feel like I'm in Vietnam, dude. Like with like
enemy
Charlie's
lines
everywhere. You can't see them. You know? I'm like, this is
got claws this long.
This is not smart.
When you guys are blown away by how much earth he moved in such a short time to build it, you're like, oh, that's like it's.
Well, what happened
the
was
mini
we
hole
walk
gun.
into the middle, and I see Adam's antlers on the right, and I don't see any of the meat.
Like,
and everything's upturned.
And everything's like just like looks like some sort of mountain of dirt, and I'm like, I don't remember this in the photos from the day before. Like,
did you?
What's happened here?
I'm like, I'm looking around, and they climb up on the pile. Dan's looking in all directions with the shotgun, and Adam's looking around, and I'm like, what are they looking around for? We need to go to where the meat is.
Where's the meat?
And then I realized.
Nature.
Then I realized, like,
I'm in nature.
we are actually in it. There's a mouse right there. See him?
I know, I'm trying to catch him. I got it.
See, we're hunting, constantly hunting. You got tags for that?
That one's there's no bag limits on those. So I just was looking around going, then I realized that his whole moose was buried under like 5 feet of
You
earth.
guys still dug out with the back straps. That's pretty
Green
brave.
Tree.
You went right in for it.
Green Tree's like, son of a mother, he took my bear. He's like, my moose. And then he saw like a little piece of the game bag sticking out, and he just hoisted out of the earth. And he's like,
That's when the bear's like, oh,
We'll take
no,
that.
you know.
Let's go
like,
for
I'm
another.
rotting that one up.
he goes, yes, it's the back strap.
Perfect.
And then he's feeling the ground. He's like, dude, it's still warm. Like everything's warm right here, and it was blizzarding. you know?
It was a miserable day.
Wow.
And so
Scary.
they're sitting there talking, and I'm like, and Keith comes walking up because he was still back at the horses.
Sorry I'm late. What did I miss?
Yeah, he's got the camera out. Comes walking up, and we all hear something walking up.
Oh.
So we all swing our heads and look at Keith, and we find out it's just Keith. And Keith doesn't know what's going on. And so we're like Keith's out there ready to get eaten by himself. Like, we're like, hey. So Keith gets the realization on his face, and we take a look at it, and I'm like, let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go. I have good survival instincts. I'll tell you that. Like,
Yeah.
I think I
It's a time and a place to hang out in the bear's domain.
Yeah,
isn't it?
I'm like, guys, let's go. This is just
Your
not-
time's limited.
Let's
there.
go over here.
Everybody knows that a grizzly bear is not going to be polite about like, hey, you guys want to share this gut pie?
Especially if your horses are like,
no.
80 yards away or something like that.
They were really far.
If your horses are right there,
with bells on, might deter.
the bear can feel the horse's imprint on the ground, and they're like, ooh, that's a heavy animal, that's a big guy, right? Your little feet don't make big enough sound for that bear.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'm going to roll you.
I don't think it
No
scared him
problem.
at all. I mean, it was just an eerie thing.
Of course.
And
Almost
so
surprised you even.
we grabbed our crap. We just grabbed the couple bags of meat that were just right there for the taking.
Meanwhile, we're trying to follow your dinglebutt tracks in the snow. Like, where you guys at? And Dad's like, bear on the moose. He's like, I don't know what we should do.
Well, he wanted to make sure we weren't
Legalities,
violating some
I was like,
regulations.
get out of there. No, take pictures.
And I'm like, as far as I know
And
in
having-
Alaska, if a bear claims you're killed, it's illegal to try to take it.
Oh, really?
It belongs to the bear.
I kind of hope nobody's going to be like, oh.
I mean, in BC, it's you have to take all edible portions, and that's borderline edible after a bear has ripped it apart and buried it all. You know,
in
you
Alaska,
take what
it's a
you
safety
can.
issue.
Of course.
They don't want you to shoot the bears
Of course.
needlessly.
Yeah.
And when a bear
Those
takes
bears
it, you're
deserve
not getting
to
it
live.
back.
No, it's
You know?
not worth the fight.
Yeah.
No.
You
So
lost.
you're
we got-
because Ranella did that podcast on a Fognac Island, and they had a bear basically claim the elk. they come back the next day, and they're all hanging around right there in the spot, just chilling, talking, blah, blah, blah. They saw some fresh tracks. They knew there was a bear there. But for some reason, they just had a brain glitch, and they decided to, like, sit down and have sandwiches. And that bear...
Just meaty, thick, rich sandwiches.
And that bear just rolled into the whole pile, knocked him down like bowling pins.
Oh, yeah, they take it serious. This isn't like a...
one of the guys...
There's no discussion.
One of the guys hit him with the trekking pole on the nose.
Oh, yeah. It worked.
I don't know if I have that in me.
In just one set, I mean, what else do you got? Right?
I know, but...
And then it took off. And one of the guys actually fell onto the bear's back and rode it down the hill like 15 yards. And they thought the bear grabbed him.
Oh, my God.
It was just so tight because it's like Southeast Alaska.
Wow.
And it was steep. And he just fell on the bear and then fell off. They thought he was dead. They were all rounding up guns and everything to like go save him. They're like, he's gone. And then they come down the hill and he's like coming up the hill. But that bear,
in 8 seconds.
But that bear still, he was still behind them, woofing and stuff. And I'm like, you have to respect.
Oh yeah.
When they claim that animal, it's savage up here. That's something that...
It's time to go.
That just...
You can't fight and win. I mean, unless without shooting them, you know. But if it's fair chase game, you know.
You gotta go.
You gotta go.
So we pulled out, and that was nerve-wracking. But I would say, like, here...
It's a reality, you know.
Then you almost got a moose on the ride out.
Yes. I would say...
First stock.
I would say, like, this place... being as remote as it is, it just brings you back to... the reality of nature and life.
Yeah.
Like,
the animals are lonely.
We kind of have this self-important idea about ourselves as we go to the movie theater and we drive around in our car and we're like, la 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 la. And it's like, we live in some sort of weird, because of our intelligence, we've sort of pulled ourselves out of nature.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, this reconnects you in such brutal force. You're nothing.
I always say, like, when you're sitting outside at nighttime or, you know, like, in the rain and you're cold, you know, and you're, like, kind of nervous or scared, you're like, think of what the animals do this every night.
Yeah.
They sit out there in the clothes they're wearing every night. It's just what they do. They're so much stronger, so much braver than us.
Like, you saw it on your moose side, that thick is that skin. That
every
fur,
night they sleep outside in the cold, pitch black, scared that a wolf or a bear is going to come sneak up and jump on them, you know? Like,
I don't think they're that scared, though. You know what I mean? Like,
no, they don't have the intelligence. They probably don't have the intelligence to be scared, or else they'd be trying to get into this cabin. You know?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. If I was a moose, I want to learn how to climb trees. Trying to get up there, I don't know what I'd do.
I'd say too, like, I'm shocked by how big moose are.
Yeah.
Like I shot a moose last year. It was my first moose hunt, and it's a big animal.
Oh yeah, it's about as big as it gets.
The moose here though is just that much bigger.
Yeah, your hinds yesterday.
Just a giant animal.
Yeah, he's.
They got pretty long reach, and they can actually hold their own against those wolves too. You'd be surprised, those big long ninja kicks out the back, big donkeys. They're not.
I think the way that I understand it, wolves need the animal to run.
Yeah.
In order to kill it. If it stands its ground.
Yeah.
They really
can't.
Or
go for calves or weeks and
And they'll go run into the water and stand there, and then the wolves have a disadvantage. Right?
Yeah.
Standing in the water, they'll freeze up. Moose can stand in the water for hours, days.
Well, that's one thing that as I hunted here, I came up here primarily for the moose hunt, and Dustin reached out to me, Dustin Rowe, and that's where I'm at. I'm at Backcountry BC and Beyond. This is my friend Dustin Rowe's outfit, so he just got the area and now he owns it, and super excited for him.
Totally.
So we came up here to experience it, and I have in my mind, like, after watching all these shows on moose, right? I knew that we were coming up here in, like, the winter.
Yeah.
I didn't expect this harsh of winter in the first week of October.
Yeah.
I just thought...
And it's a daunting feeling to be like...
the first week in November.
Yeah. And the plane system has completely shut down, stopped.
Yeah.
Dustin's got his tiny little plane that can't handle, like, a ton of, like, excessive weather. And then we still have, like, a multi-day ride out. So it is a reality. There's a feeling sometimes you're like, Like when we pulled all those shoes, like Brian was such a good sport because at one point, you know, it caked on a bunch of snow, it's thick, it's wet, and they start bawling, you know, like they
on the horseshoes.
Yeah, and so we're like, we're so sorry to do this to you guys, but we have to pull these shoes.
Yeah, 27 shoes have to come off.
You guys took it really well because it's just something that it's like, this is the nature of the beast, and we start breaking legs on our ride out. That doesn't work, you know.
And then that's the other thing about this is you better not get hurt.
Yeah.
Because getting out is tough.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're remote. But the other thing is...
Yeah, we got the GPS button helicopter.
Yeah,
we always save your helicopter in the back of my
do
pocket.
that.
No, you don't want it.
Yeah.
Unless you're hitting this.
That's why I was so disappointed. I nicked my knee yesterday with my knife. I'm like,
Stabbing.
I just so disappointed. It could have gone so much worse. You know?
Adam Greentree, the first day, he takes off on foot.
Oh, yeah.
He wants to just not mess with the horses and go hunt, right? And backpack a little bit.
Totally.
And so they go and do that.
We were under the impression he's scared of horses, wasn't into it. No, it turns out he owns horses,
he's
and
really
he just
good
likes
with horses.
that. Oh, like, okay.
But after that day of hunting in the bush on foot, he wanted to ride a horse.
Oh, yeah.
I told him.
He was like,
the bush is 7 feet tall, man.
A couple times Dan was like, yeah, we could just not mess with the horses. And Adam's like, you know, the time it takes to get the horses ready is actually shorter than the time it takes to try to bushwhack.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so it's...
Throwing a little splash of a temper and you banging around
and
those alders and
3 or 4
stuff. You're wrestling. Sheep hunting, I had a major temper tantrum. I had to go catch up with the boys. I'm by myself, and I got on this steep hill, and it's just covered in like thick, like willow leafy, where you can't actually, you're not touching the mountain.
Yeah. You're
not touching ground. You're just springing along, and I had one tumble, double flipper with the backpack on, everything, and I just full adult major meltdown by myself, red in the face, pouring through the sun. And then you get up, you're like, okay, no one's around. I will tell them about it. I'm not one to like hide these things. I will always, hey, I had a temper tantrum today.
Yeah.
She doesn't do well for getting whipped in the face. With others. Like,
you spring loaded, bam, and it gets you in the lip.
I just take it.
I just want to fight somebody. I'm like ready to just, who did it? I've never been in a bar fight, so I'm not like a fight. I've never done like things, but I am so loaded up. You put someone that I don't like there.
The worst is you're walking in front and you whip her, and you're like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Don't get mad.
She doesn't get mad anymore, but she's just like, it's just part of it, and she's losing it. You're like, feel like she's losing it on me, because I did it to her.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to say,
my
like,
fault walking too close. Everybody
stay
knows.
back a bit. Like, you don't dare
Everybody
say that,
knows.
right? Like,
I know, I think I hit Keith a few times.
It's happened.
But I didn't know he was like right behind me.
That's
8 feet
almost
tall.
the ride. It's almost the rider's fault for not. You gotta give it distance.
You kind of learn over time. You do it enough, and I just
try spring
I
loaded
just
with the
know to stay
horses.
behind. It just
Spring loaded with the horses. When you like try to move a branch to be polite, you're like, I'm sorry.
You just know. You make it by that branch, and you just know it's gonna totally wreck somebody behind it. You're like, if it doesn't get me, it's gonna get the next guy.
You think
If
it's
it doesn't
gonna
get him,
snap,
it's gonna
right?
get the next
Right.
guy.
You try to get it to snap and it won't. You're like, I gotta let go. And it's like a big spruce tree of the branch, I should say.
Well, I wanted to ask a little bit about bow hunting. So came up here. I wanted to bow hunt a moose. Bat, and I had these images in my head of like just not this much winter time,
Right.
right?
You expected more of a raging bull to come into us.
In the
We
rut,
tried to
like
call.
thrash some trees, and when we landed, there was no snow.
No.
Right? It was just like pretty greenish, brownish stuff. But,
brown.
but you're like,
Fall
this is
hues.
this is kind of what I expected, roughly. And then pretty much it just was all snow the rest of the time.
And it warmed and then it froze, so that's really tough stalking.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is
impossible.
I expected the moose to like you to call,
us, I
and they
know.
just come in, and
We didn't experience once.
and I experienced that last year.
Yeah, a little bit earlier.
We'd call and call and call, and moose would just like
totally.
walk right up, and I was making comments about how it's not even that hard to kill a moose, really. It's like
No.
They
You
just
know
kinda,
those words are like,
you
It's more
know.
like a pre-rut thing, you know? As soon as they hit the rut and they're like actually
herded
breeding,
their cows. And
they got the bull, they got a few satellite bulls, and then they got their 5 or 6 cows.
And that's
That's
that
the
was new
stage.
to me.
That's
you
the
almost
stage
know
we're
right
at
away.
right
I
now.
feel like you let out that first call and you'll catch your attention, and you almost know if you got the guy that's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, we got, you know,
Which is
versus
what
the
happened
guy
with
that's
Adam.
like,
Yeah.
A couple times. They just,
Totally.
and then the moose just walked right up, you know.
And that is hunting, you know. That is just us pretending to be moose hanging out in the willows. Like, you can't expect that. I mean, I'm not saying you, but I'm just saying people in general. It's kind of interesting that you got these expectations about, like, I'm going to show up in the rut and therefore it's going to be like self-defense, charging animals
Right.
constantly. It's like, well, no, it's still...
It's
There's still,
we were
there's
rolling-
still moods, there's still days, there's still heat versus cold versus, like, you know.
yeah,
just
it's like
all you can do
it's
is
like
try.
calling elk.
Totally,
You know,
exactly.
you
Some
get
days
in
they
there, and
thrash.
some days they just charge right in.
Totally.
And other days you can just call and call and call.
And they
call.
respond and respond. They're there. They're doing
They
it.
aren't
But
gonna
they
come
won't
down.
even.
It was basically spot and stock moose hunting this time, really.
Which,
we would
you know,
find them.
crashed.
In the
Get on
end,
them.
honestly, that has turned out to be a very, like, I wanted that experience with some moose going,
Yeah,
moose
for sure,
coming in
for sure.
and just raking a tree,
No,
just the
for
that
sure.
power,
For
you know,
sure.
and you slip an arrow in them and stuff, and
Mhm.
it's just that moment. But it turned out to be a spot and stock moose hunt,
Mhm.
and in the end, I just like spot and stock as
Yeah.
much as I enjoy calling.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like in the calling scenario, though, I just kind of, I'm not active. I'm kind of like, you'll call for me from behind, and I just sort of shoot it when it gets there.
Nice.
And that's fine, but
Yeah.
actually seeing a moose
Yeah.
that won't
it's
respond to
fun
calls
stalking, yeah.
and watching him bed,
Totally.
and that's what,
Sneaking
that first stock I got to go on, you know, when the bulls weren't responding, and you even brought the black horse out, like
Yeah,
parading it
that's
around,
awesome.
like a live decoy. Here we are.
And he looked.
Oh,
I was
they
impressed.
looked.
He was
Look,
like,
but he wasn't
yeah. He's
interested
like, that
in-
girl looking good.
Come over here.
He's
Yeah.
like, I got 4 cows. Do you want a piece of this? Come over.
What
my
surprised
way.
me was how the
Yeah.
satellite bulls wouldn't break.
I
either.
know. That's when I knew we're kind of in a fun.
Nothing would come.
That's how I
Once
knew we were
they're
in a fun
around all
spot.
those other cows,
Yeah.
and they heard us, and
Totally.
but they just hung out.
Yeah. You can't
And-
change that. It doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how much you practice your calls and do your thing. It's just, it's a whole animal language that is
Yeah.
beyond anything we'll ever understand. And everyone knows that about hunting. So sometimes you just luck in and if things just fall into place and it was like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then other times you really, like, you worked hard for it. You got 3 different epic stocks, 60 yards, 70 yards, 50 yards, you know. And, you know, and that's just how it
That
goes.
first one, you know,
You could have shot.
I could have shot. You know, we snuck in. Keith and I took our time.
Which first one? Second. Not with Dan, the first with us.
When
With us.
with Keith and I,
Mm.
we sneak in. I got right there,
Oh, you guys had a great
close. The wind was perfect the whole time.
sneak. Yeah.
But that snow is loud,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm looking at this I don't know, field of willows and all the alders like in the
Tough
way.
to envision,
I'm like,
of course.
how do you sneak up
Yeah.
on animals with ears
And
that
how
are
do
like
you
hyper?
shoot?
How do you
Yeah.
shoot?
And how do you shoot? But we found patches. It's just like
Yeah,
any
yeah.
stock I've ever been on. You just kind of move from one
Yeah.
to the next, and sometimes you got a rough patch, but you're just slow and steady. And we got all the way into where that moose was, and it looked to me like, I mean, we knew we were there, and I knew where the one cow was. I could still see her, and I was watching her body language as we moved in, but she was a little further away. There's one cow we couldn't account for, and then and the bulls, I don't know where any of the bulls were. But I watched that one big bull I was after bed. But once you got over to the spot, I'm like,
Everything seems so different.
yeah, it's
Oh,
hard
yeah,
to
of
tell.
course.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Always got taller.
400 yards away and 50 yards away.
You came out in
It's
the
like,
perfect spot.
You did
too.
so
I was
good.
like, oh, he is in the
I like
perfect
this.
spot.
yes.
This is
So I
going
towards the-
down.
so we should have worked out our hand
The
signals,
sleeping
ahead
set
of
isn't
time,
a good one,
but it's funny.
I was
Like,
looking at Doran like, what is he doing?
we have some basic hand signals, like
Of course.
left,
Of course. I know
right,
what's going on.
and straight.
we need
like,
to get like a bedded and a standing
Oh, my
Yes.
goodness, it's
Because
amazing.
Well,
that's important.
Darren's over there doing charades, and I'm
Yeah.
like looking through the vinyls, like I don't know what he's doing. Maybe
Two
and
words.
I stick my
First
hand
word.
out, like because I didn't know if we were right,
Yeah.
right there. And Tannis is like, she stuck her hand out the other way. I'm like, okay.
Well, and then
So-
you put your hand there, I just held it steady. I'm like, I'm not messing
Yeah,
around.
I wanted to double check.
Yeah.
You know, and so when I realized where it was, then it was I
Instant
knew
action, though, right away.
we were right there. I
Your,
was like,
your
okay.
hand movement's probably got the cow up.
No, we just took a few more steps, and there was a cow just 50 yards from us.
Yeah.
And she jumped up, and things were okay still. Like, she walked away, and she looked at us and walked away, and she did not smell us, but she knew we were there.
Oh, yeah.
And she got a good 100 yards from us, and I knew the bull was bedded. Like, if she was there, then the bull was like
Close.
50 yards,
Yeah.
70 yards, something like that, in shooting range. So the problem was she got to a point where when she got 100 yards away, she decided to start woofing. And I've never heard a moose like
That's
alarm
not a good
sound,
sign.
but she's like,
Yeah.
Yeah. See
Like
a
a good
whitetail
sign.
throwing a little,
Yeah.
you know.
and I'm like, crap.
You know when you hear the, like, attention bark.
Yeah.
Guess
So-
what, everybody? We got an invader.
I
Funky going on there. Doesn't look like a wolf, but I don't trust him.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
And so then I heard him stand up, and then I could see shadows through the willows. And so I inched a little bit forward, and he stood up, and I ranged him 70 yards. But, you know,
Wall
his head and neck are in plain view, plain sight. It's like,
That's
there he
what I
is.
want.
But I need his vitals.
Of course.
And he's 70. I pull my bow back. I put the 70-yard pin there. And there's a few gaps in the willows, like in the alders and stuff, where if he just stands, if he takes one or two steps and if he stops just
You'll
right,
have a, like,
there's
have a
shots.
lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But where he's at, they're just no shot. And I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting. And you guys are watching from a distance.
Such
Oh,
good action
such
watching.
good
It's
action.
just like a
You
soap
could-
opera
oh.
drama show. You're like, I think they're busted. You're doing your own commentary in your head.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, he's at full draw.
He's
at
drawing
full draw. And I thought it was way longer of a shot. I'm like, he's probably at about 120 yards. I'm like, oh, he's good. He's good. You're sitting like this. I'm like, oh, wow. It's like envisioning this arc of an arrow. I was like, he's shooting like.
Everything looks
Make it-
different from
course.
the distance. Yeah. No, we were 70
Well,
yards.
Doran
from
had
the
a
bull.
caribou stock. I thought he was at 100 yards. He was at 350 yards. You know, like
It
was
goes
just
both
the
ways.
Distance and the range.
Yeah. One time I was hunting elk with some buddies, and they're like, why didn't you shoot? Why didn't you shoot? And on the video, it looks like I'm 20 yards away.
Yeah.
And they were like 120.
Yeah, totally.
You know. So, anyway, I needed that bull to take one step. Just one step.
Well, our motto is that's Bowen.
Yeah. No doubt. So he doesn't take one step. He takes like three.
Oh yeah.
And then he takes like one. And I let down right there. And then I'm trying to shuffle around. I'm like, and you just feel like your hands are tied.
Up there. Yeah.
Because he's
You
close.
can't control that
He sees you.
But the problem is there's no
window of opportunity.
shooting lanes here. That's the one thing that I just didn't foresee, and I should have. You know, we're in the bush. That's what they
Yeah.
call it, the bush. But
It's thick.
you're
though.
talking thick. It was
And moose live on alders. They eat 50 pounds of alders every single day for full-grown moose. That's like they're just living in that basket of fruit. Like that's
Well,
they're in their home.
Yeah,
and
They-
I kept
They're not going
thinking-
into the meadows to feed
No.
on green grass. They don't do that. You know, they live in the thick. So, and it's an advantage to come as late as you did because you almost wouldn't even see that if it was green
Right.
leaves. When the leaves are on there,
Yeah.
Our first portion of this whole hunting extravaganza, moose hunting, I'm like, you can't see anything.
Yeah.
So as long as the leaves dropped, we're like, at least we can see the dark bodies kind of in there. You can sort of keep track. It's still hard, but when that stuff had foliage, you can barely even. They got to be standing up. This rack's got to be big enough to be
Yeah.
above it.
well, that's the thing. A few times
It's
when
kinda
they
more
bed
fun
down
now.
and they disappear,
Yeah, well, God.
you're not gonna see them.
And they got roller little hills that pop up over there. You're like, oh, I was been watching
Thought
this
that was
spot.
like flat.
Drives me nuts when that
Yeah.
happens.
Brian,
That
tell
was
us
a-
about your second stock.
The second stock was so. When
That was the one I liked.
that stock was, you
You
couldn't
did
have done
great.
it more perfect, right?
Yeah.
Doran
Couldn't believe it.
spotted this bull in an impossible spot. like
2 strands of fur.
he saw like that and like a tine or something.
And a
And
chunk of horn.
Oh, that, yeah.
yeah, I was like,
I'm like, a cow. And you're like, I see a paddle. I'm like,
I see a
don't see a
paddle."
paddle. And you're like, no, right beside. It was like,
tiny.
Too
When
tiny.
you were telling me where it was at.
and I thought it was a little mini bull. I was like, nah, it doesn't look like anything. And then he's like, pulls out big rocket ship.
Well, it was really neat because when I saw that bull, he was so unique. He had those giant tines that come out on the front, on the brow tine. He's got 4 on one
Brow
side.
tines are the widest part of them.
So cool.
And
I
so,
could go run out and get them, bring them out for the video here too, if you want, for a big soggy moose.
well, on that stock, you know, I mean, the wind was really good.
Really good for the
And
first
we
3 quarters.
knew right kind of where he went, so we
Yeah.
left Tannis on the hill,
Yeah, spotter.
spotter, and then we crept
Couldn't
in.
see a damn thing. So
But-
much timber in the way.
But you could see maybe if they just went completely out of the area.
Oh yeah.
But
I could see the cows feeding, and I was like, he hasn't left yet. I can see enough that I can
Yeah.
see that he
Yeah,
hasn't
we
left.
chose to go up.
I was
we
so
were gonna-
proud of you guys when Doran's like, we're at 50 yards. I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I was like, that's great. I'm like, could be shit.
I saw this little red patch of willows, and I was like, if we get to that red patch of willows, we'll probably be able to see them. And we got there, and Brian thought, you know what? He wants to go up the hill. And I'm like, going up the hill is a good idea. So we ninja'd up the top of the hill. Then you get the view.
the problem is there's no visibility,
Yeah, so we
right?
got the view.
Here. And if you're at his level,
Yeah.
I didn't want the same thing to happen as the day before.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if we get up on that knoll
Little hill.
and look down, I'll actually be able to shoot
Yeah. And we're going to be able to, we haven't located him yet, so we'll be able
to see him.
So we started going up the hill, and I looked back at these guys, and I was like, we have to be ninjas. Right now, this is ninja time. Because when we're going to roll
But
up,
what's cool though is
and we rolled up one step, looking around, next step, looking around, and I'm front, so I'm in charge of spotting. And we got just to the
He's
top,
professional too.
get just to the top, and I look down, I could just see this little black butt. And I'm like, that's a moose.
when he froze and
I
was like,
they're right there.
I was like, I go, where?
Yeah.
And Doran's like, right there, over, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and I'm getting frustrated because
Nobody
I don't
can
like it
see
when
him but
people
me.
can see it and I can't see
Or-
it. You're like, you start to feel stupid when they're like, right there. And you're like,
Really?
I don't see him.
and
Are
right
you
there,
sure?
right there.
Confirm?
yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
You don't
Are you
believe
sure?
it? Like, no, I can't until I see it.
And then I just, I needed to move my head 3 inches right,
Yeah.
but not 4. Because
Yeah,
then
yeah.
you can't see him again.
Well, he might see you.
You know, no, I mean, you can
You're
just see his
looking
butt.
through the
Yeah.
alder, so you
Yeah.
could just see it through the alder. There was no clear view of him.
So thick.
Oh yeah.
Then we got on and we're like, okay, he's bedded, and there's a cow right beside him, and then we're sitting, and then a cow is bedded just over to our right. We seen it.
Well,
We're like,
I creep-
okay, we're in the
Yeah.
patch.
Yeah, nice.
We're in the zone.
Nice.
Brian ninja'd up to one lane, and we just checked the wind. It was perfect. It was blowing down. We're just like, oh, this is perfect. It's going to happen. He's going to get up. He's going to walk to that other
That's
cow.
what I made me. The cows are going to the right.
He's going to walk
It's
to
gonna
that
be
other
action.
cow. We're 50 yards.
I'm standing there
It's
on
a
the
big
hill.
bull.
I'm standing there on the hill and I'm like, 50
Oh.
yards cow, 50 yards, 70.
Oh.
I'm counting them. I'm ranging them all. Right? Bull has to. He's gonna get up and walk.
He's got to get up.
That's what he's gonna do.
Totally.
Right? So I'm like, this is.
It's happening.
I'm gonna smoke this guy.
Yeah.
This is perfect.
Yeah.
So now it's a waiting game, and I
Yeah.
hate waiting because
if you're that close, your window.
you need to
Yeah.
just make it happen.
That's when I get the message. Trust
Brian
the
thought
cows.
about. Brian asked me, he's like, should I go in there? Like, just because we're waiting so
Seriously,
long.
Tannis,
And
I'm
our wind,
aggressive when it comes
our
to
wind
those
was starting to
stocks.
go. Our
It's
wind
like-
was starting to
When
change.
you've
We
been
all
there
knew it.
before,
He was
you know
blowing
you
right
can't
at
sit
him.
and wait that long.
And I said,
Not
I was
this
like,
stinky guy.
I was like,
Well,
I said, I kind of motioned like, just let's be patient, right?
well, you never
And
know.
that
like,
might have been the wrong call,
exactly.
but you know, I figured if we
You
went in
never
there,
know, and you
don't-
always any failed. It's not failed, but any non-complete.
even and when
You're
we
always
re-
like, but what if? And if I would have, and,
When we-
and then the next time you try that move and it won't add up.
but I
it doesn't
feel,
matter. It's
but
fair
I do
trade.
feel like, and maybe when it comes to that moment, like I feel like being aggressive has paid off more often
I know.
Okay, fair enough.
than
Yeah.
just like
I'm actually learning to be more.
if
aggressive.
our
I've
wind
always
was
been
still
kinda like,
going the other way, I think we would have been okay. But
Oh, if
because
the
our
wind
wind
held,
was,
he was a dead bull.
our wind was
Dead,
going
dead
that way, and
bull.
he
Also just
eventually he picked up our wind, and he was like kind of looking through the brush. We could barely see him, and he couldn't really see us. He knew. He knew we were in there. He
Here's
knew
the
something
thing.
was in there, and when he got up, he was out of there.
I needed this
Fair
bull.
enough.
I needed it, and he's so beautiful. He's
Yeah,
such a
I know.
cool bull.
The
And
coolest.
when we were on the hill looking at this bull, I was like, "That's the moose I want."
Oh,
like this
tell me
trip.
about it.
He's not
Beautiful.
the biggest moose. He's not like
Nice,
Yeah.
unique and
But he's
character.
He's
just-
like 54, 50 inches,
he's
something
got
like that.
such a cool
yeah.
look.
No, he's
Yeah.
awesome.
And he's just not like most bulls. And I am all about character over size, you
don't
know,
even get me
personality.
started. You got so many features on that thing.
And so I'm looking at him and I'm like, my heart's set on this bull. And now I'm like, okay, after a lot of, hard work and practice with your
Yeah.
bow and the whole thing and putting skills in
Yeah.
place and sneaking up
and doing everything right.
it's going to pay off, right? You're going to get there and,
Oh, it felt
and
like
you
it
can
was gonna
taste
happen.
that victory and you're like, I'm so
I'd consider
excited.
him because, I consider him, that's a bow shot right there, I'd say.
Mhm.
It happened at you.
And he stood up, and I needed him to just go left
Yeah.
or go right.
Not straight back.
But do not go straight away from me.
yeah.
And that's exactly what he did. He got up and walked straight away, and I had no visibility.
At a
Yeah.
quick
Yeah, well, they
walk.
moved around so fast.
Oh, yeah.
And he's marching away, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what the hell's his problem?
Fair enough.
Ditching,
Danger.
ditching his cows.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
hasn't told them anything.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
just getting
Called
up and
busted.
leaving.
That's called busted.
busted.
And so I
But when they
stepped-
danger like that, nothing in the world, it doesn't matter. You can have a big, raging, big, horny cesspool of excitement. But when you actually feel like there's a predator 50 yards away from you, you're not gonna be like, oh, bitter. That's
He didn't run, but he was briskly walking away, and
Yeah.
I arranged him,
fair chase.
and I needed him to stop so I could get a good range. And he's 70, and I'm like, oi! I'm like, moo! Like, I don't know what to say. Like, this isn't an elk. Like, how do you get it to stop and look
Yeah,
back?
yeah.
Or how do you coax it into freezing
Yeah.
just a little bit?
Tough.
Do you whistle? Do you...
Yeah.
And
Maybe a howl.
I don't... Yeah.
Could
And
get
then
him
it
shot
bolts.
and
Like,
And he might check it out. He's like, yeah, those
Download
bulls
it.
are-
all I know is
I don't know
Adam
what
said
that sounds
oi, and it seemed to work. So I was like, first it's like, "Mrrr," and it didn't do anything.
When they're not in the mood, they're not.
And I was like, oi!
yeah.
And he stopped.
stopped him.
And he turned sideways.
Yeah. Me?
Yeah, and I
me?
arranged him.
Yes. Can I help you?
He's far. I dialed the bow to the yardage. In my range, I've killed animals before like that, at that range. And moose are big targets.
Yeah.
It's not like a mule
And
deer.
that brush,
No.
that damn brush again.
And
He
so
was he was clear.
he was clear.
He was clear.
He was standing
He was
above
kinda
the brush. It was
blowing
perfect. He
uphill.
was kind of but I dialed the sight.
And then he took a bunch more.
Yeah,
steps.
and then as I was, put the rangefinder down, dialed, and it was pulling my bow back, he started walking away again.
Yeah.
And I didn't know between the dialing and all that how many more yards he took.
Yeah.
But he's a big target. He's a big target.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like,
Plus.
my left and right, I know are going to be good, and I got a lot of margin of error,
Yeah.
up and down. And so
He's quartering away well.
yes. So I drew the bow back, and I'm like, well, I think he probably stepped another 2 yards. Thinking about it, one step
For him.
is 2 yards, and
Oh, yeah.
he's probably
It makes all the
Like
difference.
9 or 10 yards further.
When
probably
you're
a
rolling
lot.
around 80
He's-
yards, your drop is so much.
And he's
more.
not a deer. He's not like two
Yeah,
steps
yeah.
is a deer. Like
yeah.
you just don't fathom how big the body
No.
is. So, and I settled. I felt like great, and I'm like, okay, this is my bow shot. It's not the one I wanted,
Yeah.
but it'll work.
Oh,
it's gonna be good.
busted.
And I know Doran is right there with the rifle as well.
Yeah.
And it's
Cranked
like,
on
and there's a
20.
lot of snow on the ground. So I'm like, I'll be able to shoot him with the rifle, as he gets out of range. If I don't hit him as good as I want with the bow, it's not a bow only hunt. I
Yeah.
can use a rifle at any time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I took that shot and I watched that arrow and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna hit him. It's gonna be perfect. It's gonna go perfect. And then it just died. at the end and just dropped and went clean under him. And it's cool because I put lighted knocks on my arrows because they're legal here.
Yeah.
And I've noted I've had a hard time seeing where my arrow goes, and you're always wondering, where did I hit?
Yeah.
And seeing the arrow go under him was such a relief.
Yeah,
just to know.
You knew right away. You're like, I missed.
It went under him.
I'm like, oh.
And he, it was close. I needed just a little bit. If he had been standing at 92, he'd have been dead.
Yeah.
If he hadn't been standing at that yardage. So he ran off, and
got you the gun,
I was like,
didn't go down.
Here's the deal, though. As he left, I was pretty crushed.
I bet.
Because I knew it was
getting close to
one of our last days.
Yeah.
And we don't know if the weather's just going to white out on us in blizzard.
Yesterday would have sucked a bit.
You don't know if you're going to even see a moose again.
And he was so cool. It was something I was telling Brian there afterwards. I was like, you don't want to say it to the guy who's already heartbroken enough. You're like, I just really wanted to see him. But I was like,
you missed
I really
a really
wanted...
good one.
Right.
I was like, I really wanted... And you know what's funny is like being a guide, it's kind of interesting because I've felt all of what you felt before. We've all had those, missed, oh my goodness, I've had it on a big orange sheet. My first ever ram I got to shoot at, I missed, clean miss, gun was out, devastating, just devastating. You're just like, hurts so much. So it's interesting for me to be on the perspective where I see you going through the pain, but I'm just like, and I'm like, shoot, what can I do? All you can do is be like, you did great, because it's not fair for someone to go through all that effortness, do everything right, and then it's
there's no guarantees, but you work hard.
Well, yeah, and it's like it's hard. We all know that the moment, like, you can spend as much time as you want hunting out of the season, but the moment you do that and you're there happens so few of times that it is really heartbreaking. It is actually heartbreaking to let it go and not have it connect, because you're like, that's, it's not like every second day you're like, miss.
Right.
Miss. You
totally.
get used to it.
This isn't a target-rich opportunity.
It's like you get the 3 or 4 times of the year where you're like,
and in my life, I don't know if I'll ever be able to do this again.
Yeah.
And so there's that on top of it.
Can I tell him the best part, though? The bull he ended up harvesting is the same bull.
Yes. So,
that's a different story altogether, but really, that bull, totally unique, awesome. I couldn't believe it when I rolled up and you guys said, it's the same bull, because you didn't tell me that on the GPS text. That was like the best surprise I ever got in my life.
Oh, man.
Like, the same bull? I'm like, yes, we get to see him because he's so unique and cool.
We didn't really know it until
about
like a minute or two before he shot him, because...
Wait a sec, yeah, I bet.
Because he was
awesome.
hidden. Yeah, he was hidden. We could just see the top of his horns, and I was like, he's a decent bull. He's the one we want. And then there's another bull. You could just see a corner of his horns. Then there's a little bull. And there's about 4 cows. Like, we're in Moose Central when we got back on him.
Well, when the bull got away, all these things are going through my mind. And I know I could have shot him with a rifle. Same with the bull earlier in the week. Like, I could have shot a lot of bulls, probably 5 bulls by now.
Oh, yeah.
If with a rifle.
Oh, the moment we spotted him, we could have shot him.
But then my hunt would have been over, too. And we talked about that with archery.
True, yeah.
You get to have these intimate experiences with the
the
bow.
stock.
The stalking and the closeness that you don't get to have. You just don't experience the same with a rifle. Mm-hmm. Both of them have their place, but I love that bow hunting experience. But I'm sitting here going, that could have been my last chance.
I know. Well, I thought
there
was
a few moments of frustration after that.
Well, as we walked around,
I was like, you know what? That's
natural.
It's natural, right?
Of course.
Doran could tell I was choked.
Of course.
Oh yeah,
we've all been there. It is. It's heartbreaking.
And it wasn't that a moose got away on a stalk that was close. It was that moose got away.
I know.
Yeah.
I wanted it too.
You get to that.
That's a cool one.
You're like,
we were so close. We had him like, we had him right. We had him.
That's the thing. That night, I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna see another moose.
Yeah, if you're hanging with us, so we're pretty optimistic and super positive.
Yeah. Me too. And
then that morning we had to pack
I tend to tag out on the last day. It's like it happens for me 99% of the time.
So
that's cool.
But it's frustrating because you know, you're pushing. It's I don't know, but when we got on this, so the next day, you know, when we got up in the morning, we realized really that's the last day.
I know I heard that interview going down. Keith's got the camera. I got this going on by the fire. And Brian's like, okay, well, it's going to be the last time. I'm like, oh, no, don't say the
Not
word.
really the last time.
The last time.
I mean, it's kind of the last convenient time to kill,
It's
but
the
I
last
mean,
full
we're
day.
still
It's
hunting.
the last full day of
Right?
it. Offered
Dan
adventure.
woke up that
I
morning.
never
and said,
told you it was
today's
the
the last
last
day.
hunt.
Good luck. You know.
And I was kind of sad because Dan's like, I'm going to need you to help pack up camp. And fair enough, they actually
Right.
did need me legit, you know.
Well, the people-
Even though I buggered off and went for an hour-long wolf
We have
hunt.
to get out of the backcountry.
Yeah.
You got lots of
You have
live
to go.
animals. Yeah, there's time. The clock is ticking. Winter is here.
Well, on camp's a big pack down. We got a huge wall tent stove. We got
Yeah.
extra this and that.
And there are horses that are weak and tired, and
Yeah.
they need to get out. And so there's that juxtaposed against this hunt, and,
Yeah.
and you're balancing it, and you're like, okay. And
But I knew
so I know where
buggered
Dan's
off.
coming from. He's like, we got to get out of here.
Yeah,
But
totally.
we also, you know, we got a day. Like today's the best day. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
And never mind how many moose we saw. Like, what a great place to do. You're probably more frustrated doing it from here a bit, just because we're kind of mountain blocked. You got to go kind of away to get.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? From
Yeah,
there,
that's
you
the
leave
moose
camp.
patch.
You're instantly hunting.
Yep.
Never mind the
Oh
30
yeah.
pack of wolves.
We got on
That's the
that
moose
bull
patch.
150 yards from the camp.
Yeah, totally.
That's
All day
something
we
like
were
that.
on moose. though.
That's where we first
All
saw it.
day after day, we were on moose. Constant moose activity.
Yeah.
That's one thing that.
That camp
Was it
is
for sure?
legit for that. And as
Even the one
we
before too. We
Yes.
won't say the names.
as we rolled up though, that last day, we kind of went back to the scene of the crime where I missed, just to see if
Oh yeah.
if the
Doran
bullets
said
come
he's
back.
like, I can feel
It's
the
natural.
vibe.
You got it. You got to
He's
go
like, I
back.
can feel the heavy presence.
You
He's
gotta
like,
go
hey, you wanna
back
get
and
out of
try
here?
to
Get out of here.
Yeah, we too. We were both sitting there. We're looking. You want to relive the moment.
Oh,
You
want
got to.
You want to see if he's back.
No,
you know, maybe we
yeah.
didn't spook him that hard
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah.
And it's
No.
like maybe they circled back and they're in this, and it's a big open valley. Well, not when I say
It was a
open.
very
It's a
meadowy-
big, it's a big willowy cluster.
Yeah.
And so
Entanglement, but
when we were
open
looking
up.
down that hill and yeah, we had a moment there. I'm like, let's go.
We
Do you
got to
know,
ride.
do you know that the exact spot where I picked you up via horses last night with the dead bull is the exact spot that I was envisioning you to
Yeah.
start your hunt? And I was like, that's going to be the bully area. I knew it, and I told him.
Yeah,
I
me and
said,
Tannis
follow the
talked
trail.
about
I
it.
said, go right to that second creek and go up and get on those knobs. Remember, we saw like two
Yeah.
or three in the distance. Go there and look there because I just got a vibe. And Doran's like, oh, and he sent me the message. I'm like, they're right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice spot.
Well, that's where we started. I was like, you know what? We got to cover ground today because as you cover ground,
On your tippy toes.
you
and
know,
stirrups.
you cover more
You know,
ground.
right.
You see
Dennis.
the
Where the
moose.
Brian
You
was
can
eager
see
and
the
he was-
moose,
his
right?
Eyeballs were on
Yeah,
his-
Brian's riding,
Dude.
standing up in his saddle just
his
to get
eyeballs
that
like that.
extra little view.
My head's
Worked.
on a swivel.
It
I'm like,
worked.
moose, moose,
Yeah.
moose.
Nice.
Had a whole bunch of false calls and a whole bunch of real
Yeah.
calls.
And I
you know?
told Doran's good about that too. It's like, hey, you have to inspect everything. You
Yeah,
don't-
I'll stop and jump off and we check it out,
Especially
right?
that thicker brush, you know that half the time those are actually moose. And you
Yeah.
gotta wait for them to like, no.
No, I gotta admit, like, so the day's halfway over.
Yeah.
It's the last day,
Everyone knows there's that dry spell in the middle of the day where it's not really action.
And well,
but when it's
and we
snows-
crept up on this. I spotted a moose come down the hill, a cow, and I was like, oh, we don't have anything else to go on.
Let's go
Doran,
after
let's sneak in there and see
Bulls like
if there's
cows
with a
right
big
now.
bull with
Yep.
that cow.
Nice.
So we actually snuck in
Without even knowing anything was
without
even
knowing
happening.
anything
Nice.
and snuck up to how close? 50 yards.
50 yards.
50
Pulled out,
yards.
there's a little bull standing there.
It's a little bull, and I got my bow out, and I'm like, I go to
You
Doran.
knew it.
It's the last day. We're halfway through it. I'm like, can I shoot him? And Doran's like, yeah.
I said
Legally you
he's a
can.
spike. I said he's a spike. And then I looked at him. I go, well, he's actually got 4 points on each side. So he's
I got
not
my
a
bow, and
technical
I'm like,
spike.
I'm thinking about
Like,
just
no.
shooting this moose,
That's the hunter in you.
We're like,
and I'm like, he'd eat well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of time and money come up here to shoot
I gotta
a baby.
You're like,
Yeah.
I gotta face all of my viewers. and
No,
whatnot.
it was a true pass. There was no drawback.
No.
We stopped. We looked
What's
at
funny
him.
though is I was checking him out and I'm like, would I be happy shooting
Yeah.
that bull? Am I okay if the hunt ends like this? I'm looking at that moose and I'm like, he's half the size of his mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Half.
And he's with his mom.
And he's
You
with
know
his
my
mom.
rule, if their eyelashes are bigger than your paddles. If you can see their eyelashes, you're like, oh no. You gotta be so distracted by this. Oh, I don't even notice his eyelashes.
No.
So we pulled back. We were like, you know what?
It was cool.
Practice stuff.
It was cool
Yeah.
to sneak up on those two
Yeah.
moose though, like
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
It gives you confidence.
In the patch, too.
Mhm.
We just played the wind and went straight into the wind and looked both ways.
But I gotta tell you, is we're riding up that hill, and I'm standing in the stirrups, and I'm just trying to see any sign of a moose. We're riding up, and I just at the tippy tip of my stirrups, I could see over a ridge, and I saw.
Yellow horns.
Oh, I just saw a moose, just a body.
Oh, nice.
What I thought. I saw a lot of
Yeah.
false moose, so
Yeah.
I was like,
This could be it.
this could be it, and I stopped.
50%
And I ride the horse up the.
Nice.
You know, Duke's a good boy.
Yeah.
He rides up just a little bit on top of the knob so I can see just a little bit more. Hold the binos up. And everybody's kind of waiting, you know? And I'm like, bull moose!
Bull!
Bull!
I'm like, oh,
Nice.
it's got to be a decent bull.
Nice.
So at that point I was like, give me the rifle. We're
Can't
ending the
believe
hunt.
it's the
This is the
same
last hours, last day. I'm
Yeah.
going to shoot this bull.
Yeah.
And we tied the horse up. And we looked at it, and he's definitely stockable with a bow. I mean, we could have done it with the bow. But I'm looking at it going, you know what?
It's possible to lose him, too.
It's possible to lose him. I've had so
Yeah.
many chances, like,
Mhm.
at the finish line where it didn't work out.
Yeah.
And I had decided after yesterday, the day before really sunk in, I do not want to go home without a moose.
Yeah.
After all the trip, we're having moose heart tacos tonight.
Birthday meal.
My birthday is today.
Yeah.
And
It sure
so-
beats this snack we got here. One little
cheese and
piece.
Kit Kat.
Yeah.
I like mine.
So, I mean,
And such a cool bowl. And you know what? You probably actually could have totally worked out. But the chance to risk the thing, you know, and
well, and as we snuck up on that
we think
moose,
you're awesome. So.
I get my heart rate going. Like,
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
Brian's like, Doran, I'm not really a rifle hunter. He's like, and I'm like, okay, I'm in charge. You know, just let us in. Went up this little valley, and then I was gonna roll over, and I'm like, oh, we are not gonna get the deflection we need. Kind of pulled back a bit and went up to this hill. By the time we got up there, they were all bedded,
yeah,
and we sat there. They were bedded. You could see his horns, just the tip of his horns. I was like, that's the big bull. The other bull was walking around.
the other bull, and we could have shot him at 250 yards or something.
Yeah.
But I didn't like the shooting position. I didn't like the setup. So I was like, let's go. Let's move to a better
That's
spot.
awesome.
Yeah,
Most
we
rifle
got up-
hunters, 200 yards is like
Yeah.
money. That's
Yeah.
like, woo! 200 yards is sweet.
We got up to 180 yards and sat there.
That's awesome.
And when he stood up, Brian made a great shot.
You know, it just... And then Doran turns to me, and I was busy focused on taking down the moose. And when I shoot him and he goes down, Doran's like... I didn't want to, cause any nervousness, but, that's the same bull that got away yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes!
That's it. I was so stoked too.
I could see right away when he stood up, he's got those big four brows. I was like, oh, that's,
I knew he was
that's
cool.
him.
I knew he was cool.
Yeah.
And you could see the size difference between him and that other moose.
Oh yeah.
And
No,
so
he's
there
a
was another
full-grown,
lesser moose
mature
there that was
dog.
hanging out.
Next year.
Yeah.
He'll come back.
Oh, the footage is great.
So I don't know.
That was fun.
So, if somebody, Tannis, you don't have a cell phone.
Never have, never will. That here I am in the backcountry texting on this silly GPS. My job, I'm like, oh, thing's killing me. I'm trying to horse
never had a
things
cell
fighting
phone.
me. And
Yeah, you can contact her at tantass@inreach.garmin.
or Garmin
_ass.
Something like that.
Yeah, something.
So that's crazy to live.
It's
a life.
interesting. Well, it's watch out for my book in the future because I'm going to write a book on watching what happened to humanity. It's crazy because I actually am like a certified person. I can just stand back and be like, wow. Went from the flip phone, the one that got all hot and burning in your ear with the little, that was in like the 80s. I remember my one friend's dad had one. I'm just, and he was like big dick money right there. He's got like pimp daddy. This guy's got a phone, and it's not attached to anything. There's no cords coming out of it. And then within and it's so crazy that so many people are like, you don't have a phone. I'm like, man, it was not that long ago that no one had a phone.
Right.
Don't give me shit about it. I was like, and the worst part, well, not the worst, but I mean, there's so many funny things about my life versus other people's life, but it's really interesting when you're like, you tell someone, okay, I'll meet you uptown, like, let's say, 2 at Mugshots for coffee, Well, just text me when you're there. I'm like, well, I can't. So you just make a time.
Let's stick
Tell
with
me
the plan.
when you're there, and
Yeah.
people get so frustrated. And you're like,
It's hilarious.
But it was never a thing before, and and then when I go anywhere and I have anything, I always have to grab a magazine. It's interesting, and every other human in existence has the thing, and it's just so insano, man, I watched it. I've watched something change. Humanity has changed forever. It's crazy. There's a difference.
You were telling me how you feel rich.
Oh, the richest. How can you not?
Tell me about that. What do you mean?
How can you not feel so rich? I traveler, right? So traveled to some poor places, and I told you about Peru and stuff like that. And I went and did some surfing in the surf town, and there's me living my luxury life of total freedom. I'm here. I think it's beautiful. These people are here, the little village, which is made out of tarps. It's like a series of tarps. You go past and you're like, tarp, 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 wall, tarp. It's their homes, right? They got dried little fish skins because they're making dried fish flakes to put on their ceviches, And these people classic kids playing, soccer in the sand. And they got and there's these big tankers going out, and they're like a fishing industry town, Shit's poor, People are poor, and they're happy, and they're fine with it. They're like, sweet, we got a job.
What they got.
We got a job. My family lives here. We're playing soccer. There's a school. I got my house. It's clean, right? People love life. And it drives me crazy when people talk about wanting so much more, wanting to be richer, wanting to retire happy and be wealthy. And I'm like, but the wealth is right here. If any one of us in North America doesn't think you're the wealthiest person in the world to have snap-on lights, we're flicking them on, turn the heat on in the house, I'm driving one truck in winter, I got my summer truck, I'm pulling a 20-foot horse trailer with my babies that are pure recreational. Even this job, we brought them with, we got 3 horses, but it's still somewhat recreational. It's not a need to do it, right? And everyone's like, oh, you'll survive when, the world goes to shit because you have your horses. I'm like, well, it's not. It's not what I'm doing, And it's such a shame that people in North America could ever feel like they are living in an adequate life because they don't have more, And it's just, you got to stop and be really, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart, you really got to stop and just pull in all this, realize how wealthy we are, and you got the freedom to move and the travel, and you can buy a hunt, and I'm going on a 10-day holiday, and I get to make movies and do this, and I get to charge my batteries on a generator that's pumping gas from a plane that flew in. We're so rich. It's still the backcountry, but we're crushing it up here,
Yeah.
So that's just me in a handshake. It's I just really think it's important to really understand what living in North America and freedom of what we got going on, to dream and to do what we want.
What would you say is rich?
Rich is just
What's the definition of being rich to you?
To me, rich is time, right? Because I'm not a money-driven person. So for me, it's if I can have recreational things that I get to do and I'm not forced to work. There's a ton of my friends work Monday to Friday. They got their 2-day weekend. That's just life. Plug away weekend. Oh, now I get a week off from work. Yeah, for me, time off, just things, just soaking myself into whatever. And
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
I took my mom on
Time
like
off.
her 60th birthday. I was like, Mom, I'm whipping you off in the mountains. We're going on a little, and to my mom, she's a prairie girl, right? She's not, weren't raised with horses. So I got her on horseback. We get the fire going, and all she wanted was to sleep under the stars. We're doing it, and she's 60. And I'm like, Mom, tell me, like, give me some thoughts in your mind now that you're aging and you're getting into your senior years, And she just said, take all the time off because your spectrum of wealth is never really, you're not going to be poor. Us North Americans aren't ever poor. Whether you're going to be that much richer, who gives a shoot, who poop and gives a poop, And I was just like, you're darn right. And I actually have a lot of time off in my life. But here I am now, I'm ditching shifts like, hey, you want to? Yeah, I'll take a 4-day weekend. And I'm burning off here and doing this. And it's just like, because we're so rich, and I feel kind of guilty sometimes about having so much freedom to be able to do all this stuff that I want. And then on top of it, I'm like, I'll just take more time off because, and I do have like things that I'm saving up for retirement. Like I do have invested money, it's kind of a new thing to me, but I have like, it's just something you gotta have a bit of security and fall back. We got a house in Fernie, it's probably worth $500,000, and by the time it's done, there's some, and to me, that's just like, that's rich. I'm just like, wow, like crushing it. What more could you want, I'm not gonna keep working a job to get richer for what? You're never guaranteed your health, and you're never guaranteed that.
Yeah.
People wait to retire. Don't ever wait to retire. It's not worth it.
Life's short, live it now.
Right now. He's one of the biggest role models of mine ever.
Right.
He's totally
I just
let's
do
go
whatever
do
I
it.
want. I'm like, oh no, I'll do it today.
Everyone wakes up every day, and every day is like full of possibilities to just crush it on your own. Everyone goes through little waves of depression when you're in a slump, but I mean, most of it's like, oh yeah, okay, like
You're gonna die eventually, so you might as well just live it up.
Where do you see the next year or two, Doran? Like
trapping,
I don't know.
surfing,
After this,
river
I think I'm
surfing,
snurfing.
all the kind of surfboard trips.
I'm gonna probably go back.
He's gonna start a podcast.
I'm gonna finish.
Rick and Paige.
I'm
whatever
gonna
you
finish hunting for myself. I'm gonna go hunt bighorns, goats,
5 days.
then whitetails. And then I'll probably go to work forestry for like 3 weeks. Then
Don't work too hard.
No,
No.
and then it'll be Christmas. Do Christmas.
Blow all that
do
cash.
Christmas time,
Do Christmas.
and then
sit on Santa's
Christmas time,
lap.
everybody comes back, so like they all have vacations. So we'll see
Yeah.
all random people, have parties,
Yeah.
and poker tournament, and then probably I'd like to go traveling to South America for this a month or two,
Yeah.
and then kill a little bit more time, and then come back hunting guiding.
I like it all.
It sounds like a good plan, right? We'll see if it works.
What do you think,
For me,
Tannis?
Love it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like
Snurfing after Christmas, snurfing
You're coming.
until January,
No,
February, March.
Next podcast gonna be our cabin way off in the mountain
Something like that.
We need to do it again
with
for
full
sure.
winter. You think this is winter?
Because I know so much about you guys that I want other people to know,
yeah.
but we're out of time.
Yeah.
But you guys are going to swing through Salt Lake.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do a little America road trip.
It's kind of funny before guiding that a lot of my friends or people are going to be like, you're just going to hang out with a bunch of rich. You're going to hate it. They're going to be losers. You have to drag them around the mountains. And I just didn't want to believe it. I was like, no, I'm going to make a lot of new friends.
Yeah, that's because
I'm going to hang out with really cool people that want to be there for the right reason, We had the one group of billionaires, but they were awesome.
They're
We
great.
still had so much fun
Yeah.
with them, even though there was like no
They just
way
didn't
we
wanna
could get
hunt.
them on a horse.
they just didn't want to hunt. They didn't come here to hunt. We're like, oh, that's really weird.
They had enough booze to sink a ship, and they were just here to have a holiday. And we're like, okay. And as soon as you pick up that vibe, you're like, all right, well, let's work with this. Like, get drunk.
Roll with the punches.
Right? What do you do?
So people turned out to be cool.
Oh,
Oh,
everyone.
yeah.
My friend, his best friend did this for like years, hunting guiding, and he told me, he goes, you know what? He goes, you're gonna make so many friends. He's like,
and we're lucky with
you
Dustin
will.
as our boss because Dustin actually has some pretty sporty, cool, good kind of hunting niche going on. Like, it's different.
Yeah.
It's not like these old-timey European don't speak English. Like, oh, what am I going to do with you, drag me? And even those would be fun, don't get me wrong. But pretty much everybody we've had has actually been quite capable and fun because so then we can just get on hunting.
Yep.
You know, because I was kind of worried that it'd be like babysitting, like, oh, what's he doing?
Oh,
Why is
nobody
he...
messes around here.
But
Like,
you guys are like on it. We
we're
just gotta get
hunting.
you to the moose, and then we're watching you do the big. Wow, he's drawn back. We're like, so it's exhilarating because to me it feels like we shared a hunt. It wasn't
Oh,
like I was
yeah.
like, hold your hand. Okay, sit here. Shh. Like you knew what to
Oh,
do.
yeah.
Everywhere we went, you're hunting, so it didn't feel like wasted time of like figuring out what this guy can handle.
Well, and I felt like I've been on a few guided hunts now. You know, and whenever I come to Canada, I have no choice. You have to hire a
Yeah,
guide.
totally.
And I used to have a real bad image in my mind about it.
Oh, Canada.
And no, of the guides, the whole guiding thing.
Well, I bet, and you're stuck with it, and it sucks because you're the one paying. So if you get stuck with so and so, you gotta like, oh, that's
Absolutely.
my money that I just flushed out.
But now, as I've done it, I'm like, some of my like best relationships are the guides that I've become friends
Nice.
with, and it's because they just love this stuff as much as I do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, we're out here for one reason, and it's awesome. And
I'll say this: I mean, it could be miserable out here with people who suck. Like,
oh, of course.
I mean,
but then you
just-
bide your time, wait the 10 days, and then new shipment of whoever. Right?
It's
true, but I mean,
It's
like from my
really
perspective,
important to get the animal.
if
It's,
it is.
It's
lightens the
crucial.
mood for
But
sure.
if
It's so important.
if I come here though,
Oh.
and I go to hang out with
Dorks,
like just a
dork-eared,
yeah, just people who are grumpy and mean or
tempered on the
attitude
horse.
or whatever. And here at Dustin's outfit, it has been everybody is what is Adams like? Just everybody's classy.
Dustin told me.
Uptown's high maintenance.
Dustin told me. He said he picked his crew this year. He said he had a lot of people apply who had tons more experience than other people. But he said he picked his crew for who was going to work and who was going to stay with them. You know, because he needed people. He knows what it takes to run an operation. He needs everyone
You
to
can
be
have the
together.
best guides ever, but you still want someone to have a good time. Right?
You got to get along.
Well, that's what's
Oh,
cool is you guys are
fuck,
like
you got to get
this
along.
like team that just sort of. I mean, there's your riffs here and there, but for the most part, it's like, and we're coming at the last, right? We're in the last days,
Yeah.
and if you guys have been together for 50 days and 80, so you're getting along, and the horses and everything, it's a oiled machine.
Yeah.
Every morning though, you guys would go trek forever to go find horses.
That's the late
With the
season show. The
cowbells.
start of it wasn't that bad because they're in this thick of lush they have
Yeah,
after camp.
so they have no reason to leave.
Yeah.
This is a good camp. They're close.
But
Right.
still, you guys
Every
got
camp's a little different.
You gotta go
Mhm.
in the middle of the night. It's
Yeah,
cold.
yeah.
You're getting them in the dark still, and you're getting them saddled up, and we're leaving at
It
first
does
light.
feel like Groundhog Day. It's over and over.
Dude, I
and
could
over
totally
and
see
over.
coming
It's
on a hunt like this,
I
and the outfitter doesn't even get you out of camp till late in the afternoon.
Sometimes we can't.
Well, I mean,
Sometimes you just can't.
sometimes you can't, but you guys worked your butts off.
Yeah. Even when we had to pull all the shoes, we had you guys out by like 10 or 11.
Yeah, I was impressed.
Pull
man.
27.
We just picked the shoe. We picked the horses with the least amount of shoes. He's only got
He's only got
jack
two.
him up.
Those go
He's
on.
just got one. Jack it up. And then we're like, all right, we got 2 horses that don't have any shoes. Those are going with you.
Yes. No, it's been
You
awesome.
went through the blizzard, then we just showed up at party time.
I'm glad I did that day.
Yeah.
It's one of the cooler days. Just to see Adam's moose buried under a ton of earth, and I don't know,
And
it just,
with the shotgun.
yeah, totally, and just the adventure of it all,
Yeah, I bet.
like going through. We were off trail like the
Yeah,
whole
oh,
time.
I
We
know.
followed your
We followed
tracks.
your off trail.
Oh,
It was just
Pretty
it was,
awkward trying to turn around like 4 horses and the tiniest little just wall of timber. Like, okay, back it up. We got
Oh, it
another
was-
dead end.
It was a circus, but we got it done.
That's part of it.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Anyone that comes out here and thinks it's going to be smooth, total whipped butter, not happening. Like this is
no,
mountain
you
living.
really kind of need.
You got to have the mule doing the
To
night
be
sprint.
tough.
You know.
And I'm assuming it's a little better earlier in the season when you're not
What's
dealing with
better,
the
though?
cold in terms of just. You guys had some bogs though.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always different elements.
You gotta be smart. You don't want to do anything stupid.
To be honest, the hunting is way better now.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You can see.
It was just more of a struggle at the start. You can see more of the animals are like summer. You know how it goes, right? You bet it all day.
Yeah, like the
Boring.
caribou would
We
come out
napped
of the
like
mountain.
crazy. Our first summer hunts just nap, and the days are longer, right?
Yeah.
So it's all elements of whatever. Which is, I mean, I can't say we actually napped that much, but the hunters would nap. It was
Well,
so
so
funny.
far, Adam and I have a moose. John Barklow is out right now. Fingers are crossed. We're
Oh.
hoping he gets one. Jonathan shot a giant
I remember
caribou.
seeing that thing in camp. That was
What?
like
What do you think?
400 plus.
It's definitely way over
Blue
400.
Crockett.
Just
Double
a,
shovels and heavy.
just a stud.
Heavy,
caribou.
wide, thick,
Yeah.
tall.
So all of it's just been amazing. So,
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Yeah, we got to do it again
Dan's back.
soon.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay, I'm ready.
all right, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Stay gritty.
Nice. Sweet. That was fun. I want to do another one. Let's change the subject and talk about.
Bottom.
Oh, nice!
Trapped his ass.
We get that on video. Got the mouse.
Despite our ever-changing, ever-indignant world with its growing ignorance of and indifference to the ways of the wild, I remain a predator, pitying those who revel in artificiality and synthetic success while regarding me and my kind as relics of a time and place no longer valued or understood. I stalk a real world of dark wood and tall grass stirred by a restless wind blowing across sunlit water and beneath star-strewn sky. And on those occasions when I choose to kill, to claim some small part of nature's bounty for my own, I do so by choice, quickly, with the learned efficiency of a skilled hunter. Further, in my heart and mind, I know the truth and make no apologies for my actions or my place and time. Others around me may opt to eat only plants, nuts, and fruits. Still others may employ faceless strangers to procure their meats, their leather, their feathers, and all those niceties and necessities of life. Such is their right, of course, and I wish them well. All I ask in return is no one begrudge me, and all of us who may answer the primordial stirrings within our hunter souls, my right to do some of these things myself. What you just heard is a quote from M.R. James. We truly live in a world that is largely ignorant and indifferent to the ways of the wild. And although some regard us as relics of a time and place no longer valued or understood, we have the opportunity to change the way these people view the hunter and the hunt. We can share our experiences and nature's bounty with those who employ these faceless strangers. And by so doing, we make a difference, not just for ourselves, but for the wild animals and the wild places we care so deeply about. Never stop sharing your passion for hunting and the outdoors. Our wild animals and our wild places depend on it.
This is Ty Stubblefield, and you're listening to the Gritty Bowman.
Gritty Bowman.